And then welcome to the Chaska, Minnesota, home of the 2024 U5 National Championship. I'm Lexi Lanigan, joined by Ben Hoppy. Who do we have for teams here today, Ben?
Today we're going to have a great draw here between Team Mellon and Team Parks in our last draw of the round robin play for this pool.
As the teams just finished up the pregame practice, a couple of the draw shot challenge just underway. We have a pretty exciting day here planned. The quarterfinals will be on tonight. A couple draws in the round robin left before then. Currently, Mellon is 4-0. Robertson 3-1. Both of those teams have solidified their spots into the quarterfinals out of Pool A. Parks, Haynes, Mulliken, and Smith all playing their last draw this morning.
It's been a great set of games so far. We've had some really close games. I know Parks and James Grant Robertson had theirs come down to the an extra end, so really close game there that got us here.
These are the teams that we have playing right now. As you may know, we're featuring Sheet C, Parks versus Mellon, but the rest of the teams will be streamed as well on D through F if you want to take a look at the other YouTube stream on USA Curling YouTube.
USA Curling is grateful to the generous donors who helped make this 500 Nationals coverage possible. Thanks to Andy Miller, Ken Pomeroy, Matt Pesos, Tessa Bracchi, David Hurst, and Ramin Gilbert. For Team Parks, we have Anto Legg at lead, Kira Minayan at second, Jillian Langham at third, Alyssa Parks as skip. They have an alternate, Queen of Muirs, and they are coached by Julie Segovia.
For the Mellon rink, we have lead Jackson Purdy, second Derek Farrell, third Joe Daly, and Matt Mellon as skip. Little fun fact, I happen to be marrying the third Joe Daly, so a little bit of preferential treatment here. But Ben, you also played with Team Park, so we have a good...
I am familiar with their opponents, so we can be well represented. I've either played with or against all four of those team members, so I can shout their praises throughout the course of the game today. I'm excited to chat more about them as the game goes along.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think there's some coach for this Team Mellon that
just a small name in the curling world. Corey Dropkin's a good friend of ours, and we're all up in Duluth. We're all from Duluth, and Corey joined the guys this week to be their official coach. Already made a couple appearances at the timeouts. It's been pretty fun to see him help the guys.
It's always nice to have someone with that kind of experience in your corner. So obviously, Mellon's got a great coach helping them out. Julie Segovia for Team Parks has won, I believe, 3 straight arena gold medals.
That's right.
So you have some pretty good experience on both sides helping out each team.
No, that's amazing. Yeah, and this women's team here at Team Parks has done a phenomenal job over the last few years, especially at the Arena Nationals as well, right?
Yes, exactly. So Alyssa Parks has played vice for Julie Segovia at Arena Nationals, so they've won the last 3. She curls out of the Curling Club of Houston, and they've done a fantastic job there. And Alyssa has been a feature here at the 5 and Under National Championships for each of the past 3 years. She's the only women's skip to ever qualify for the playoffs. Unfortunately, some of those tiebreakers didn't go their way this year, so she wasn't able to make the playoffs this year, but still the only women's skip to ever make it to the playoffs here at 5 and Under Nationals.
That's awesome. And ever since the 5 and Under Nationals started, about 5 years ago now?
So
in
about
Duluth?
that, yep.
Okay. Ever since then, it's been growing in popularity. Tell us a little bit more. Playing in U5s, obviously I was never able to, but how was that experience?
The experience is fantastic. I mean, I started playing it. I played one right before COVID, and then since COVID, I got started with it, and it's just such a great community of people, just a fantastic group. You get to meet all these people. This is a great example. I've got to either play against or with all of these ladies here today, and they're some of my friends that I love chatting with, and was really excited to get to meet back up with them here in Chaska this weekend.
Absolutely. So you were playing with Team Gilbert this week, right?
Yes, I'm an alternate with Team Gilbert this weekend.
Awesome. And who had you played with before, last year?
So last year I skipped a team at 5 and Under Nationals in Hibbing, so I had a team out of Austin, Texas. So
cool.
Last year we had a couple of arena teams that were there. This year we obviously have Ramin Gilbert's team is the only all-arena team that's here. though this team Parks, they all have an origin story at arenas. So Alyssa Parks is playing out of the Curling Club of Houston, so they're an arena club, and I believe Kira Manayan is out of Orange County Curling Club. Either that or Hollywood. I apologize, I might not know that one. I know Queen is out of Orange County, and so they're all arena curlers, and both Anto and Jillian also got their start at Arena National, or at arena clubs as well. So we have some good representation for arena curlers here this weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
14-4 should be solid team.
And you mentioned Ramin Gilbert. That team
You're good.
donated quite a bit of money to help make this happen this weekend. The streaming, us commentators being able to hop on here and talk a bit. That's been pretty amazing.
Yeah, I know Ramin and David both donated to it, and then from their club, Oval Curling, Tessa Brockie and Kem Pomeroy also donated to help make this possible. So really appreciate them doing what they could to help make sure that we could showcase all of these curlers this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously it's really hard to get everyone on the stream, right? Because you have, depending on what sheet you're on, depending on what the stream is set up to be. So it's a lot better than last year at the Hibbing Nationals. There was nothing. Even though the Hibbing Curling Club did a phenomenal job, it was hard to be able to watch.
They did a great job last year, but you tried to stream your own. There wasn't very good Wi-Fi when you have all that brick and stone around you. So it's really nice to have a very different experience this year, going from a lot of history last year to just a beautiful, like, new facility here that has really high quality. So
yeah,
love that.
The Chaska Curling Club does a great job too, and USA Curling obviously does an incredible job with being able to help with the stream as well. So happy to have them support.
Absolutely. So it looks like we've got Parks trying to, without Hammer here, trying to clog up the center. And it looks like Mellon has started themselves on the playing to the wing, and now taking that out, trying to generate a little bit of offense here.
Yeah, we were timing the rocks a little bit as the practice was going on, and it seems like the ice is a pretty good speed already. I noticed the ice was changing a bit throughout the weekend. Did you notice that playing? Getting a little faster maybe?
Yeah, we definitely started out with a hog-to-hog time for draws at about a 14.2 seconds hog-to-hog. Now we're starting to see it be a little bit closer to maybe a 14.75, somewhere in that range. So it's definitely sped up. We've had a little bit more curl as the week has gone along. And I'm curious to see what kind of nuances we see with the ice, as we've started to see a little bit more movement almost away from the sheet D side towards the sheet A side. So you might see a little bit more curl on that side of the ice, or playing away from that side.
Yeah. The Chaska Curling Club is known for having a couple different ways that you can get to the button. Either you take the longer path on the outside 12 and have a little bit less handle and it curls a bit more, or you can take a little bit less ice. There's a couple different paths, but that timing that you're talking about, I think, is incredibly important. For those who might not know as much about curling, those hog-to-hog times are really the time it takes to get the rock between the two hog lines, which are the dark black lines here. A 14.2 to a 14.7 might not seem that much different, but it can be quite impactful, especially on quick ice like this.
Absolutely. So obviously this game might not mean anything specifically for moving on, but both teams want to finish this game strong. What do you think are some keys to the game here for Matt Mellon's team as they're starting to prepare for their playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's how can you continue to get a good feel for the ice and make sure that you're ready to go into playoffs. I know that they are, they've been working really hard on their communication, making sure that they're clear on their sweeping judgment, clear on their, as Matt's calling the line. And I think they just really want to make sure they're fine-tuning that going into tonight.
That's fantastic. And you're hearing some great communication already from this team. Alyssa, as this rock is coming down, doing a great job sharing exactly where the sweepers need to be doing, so they knew exactly how to set themselves up. And it resulted in a beautiful draw here to the top 4 foot.
Yeah, that was, I don't want to say a risky call, but it was an aggressive call that very much paid off for them, even making sure that they're getting a little bit behind that cover. The red center guard as well. Yeah,
and you're going to see Alyssa be pretty aggressive. There's have a tendency to be a little bit more boomer bust sometimes.
Okay.
And so they like to get a lot of rocks in play, and they can put a lot of pressure on you.
Absolutely.
If you're able to hit and stick a lot, you can sometimes put up a little bit of a crooked number against them. But that high risk, high reward play leads for some really fun opportunities for us to watch as well.
I know, I'm excited. Most of my women's team, so I play with Team Anderson, USA Curling ladies team, and we tend to be a little bit more defensive. Well, it just depends, right? It depends on the scenario, it depends on the team, offense on the ice, but we tend to be a little bit more defensive, and it's fun to be able to have, you know, a lot of rocks in play, be able to see the different angles and what's going to happen.
Absolutely. It's always fun to play against Alyssa because you know that there's going to be a lot going on. It makes your brain work a lot more as you're having to think through, okay, what happens if I don't make this, or what happens if I play this way.
Fun fact about Team Mellon, obviously they all started curling within the last 5 years and have absolutely taken off in interest. Matt watches probably more curling than me, and I play competitively, and so he always has strategy on, watching from, you know, the slams or championships out there, making sure that he's keeping up. I'm sure the Parks team is doing something similar.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that must be something that all of us do in 5U is we probably watch more curling than we maybe should. It's one of those things, you get into this new hobby as an adult and you just want to just go hard with it. So
Close. Stay close. Yep. Whoa. Roll it if you can. Good, Joe.
So Alyssa, looking like we have 3 rocks in the house here. It's one of those moments where first end, do you want to play a little bit more aggressively or a little bit more defensively in this type of situation?
Yeah, I mean, Team Mellon obviously has 3 in the house, but 2 of them are behind the tee line, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just creates opportunity for Alyssa to get a nice one in there, especially if she has a nice hit and roll here, which looks like might be close. I don't mind going aggressive, but it's definitely hard when you don't have a great feeling of the ice yet, right?
Absolutely.
That was a really nice hit and roll, because not only are you half buried behind the center guard, but you're also, you know, it's the jam possibility with the yellow biting the back 12.
Like
either jam possibility, they got a jam possibility there, and it's really hard for Matt's team to be able to hit and be able to stick as well. So
right.
Jacks, go!
So you hear them say it's always Jacks, Jacks go, and Jackson here on the right is trying to make sure that it can get curling. Must have been a little bit wide out of the hack by Joe.
All right, Joe.
I give him a little bit of crap for that one later. It's hard, especially at the beginning when you throw a lot of draws in that pregame practice, making sure that you have the field down for the draw weight, and then you throw a hit and the ice might have changed a little bit from one game to another.
That's one of the biggest learning curves that I think a lot of us in 5U have experienced, is trying to get your weights matched at all across the spectrum. It seems like you start out, you figure out, you actually kind of figure out draw weight early on when I was playing, and then I started going to hits, and then I completely lost any feel for that and not knowing how to do any kind of weight control, and it's that going back and forth and finding where that is across the board.
I play second on my women's team, and sometimes I'll just go to the club and practice throwing a hit, then throwing a draw, then throwing a hit, then throwing a draw, and trying to gauge the difference between the weights. But we'll see what she does here. She has a draw opportunity. Sit 2 here against Mellon in the first.
And if she can ever get this like mostly buried or half buried, it's looking really good. But it looks like she's actually
she's hitting.
She's going to play a hit here.
I don't mind this, especially given Mellon has hammer in the first. I'm a firm believer that draws are easier to place precisely than hits or a hit and roll. And so I wouldn't have minded if she wanted to go all in aggressive there. She could have thrown another draw, like half buried or even fully buried, maybe like biting top 4, just underneath that center guard.
Yeah, that should be good.
You miss it though, and you're giving them an opportunity for 3. So it's a more of a risky call there.
Risk assessment.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You have to see what you want to do.
Yeah, first end maybe not, but maybe later in the game we'll see her throw a draw there.
Same weight, that board.
Yeah, I'd fully expect later on in the game that she'll probably call some kind of a draw to the top 8 foot or something like there. Get it just a sliver buried, so that way you're kind of protecting that that shot rock while also making it hard for there to be any sort of a double opportunity back.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're calling a board weight here. That's what I heard. 12-5. They're expecting.
You just saw Joe's float a little bit wide, so now they have to try and play this, see if they can make it the second time around here.
They're staying close in the sweep. Must have jumped a little bit there.
Make it lucky.
Oh,
Go, Jax.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I think it was just a little bit less weight than they anticipated it to be, especially.
Technical timeout. Oh. I think it
They
was.
tapped this rock just a little bit.
I'm good with that.
Was that where it was?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Was it less? Like there?
I thought it was touching center.
It wasn't on the center line.
It wasn't? Okay.
No. That seems
I'm good with that.
okay.
I wonder if he kicked it after they had passed it. Do you think, Ben?
I think so. I think as they were trying to get by, because that rock, I don't even know how that got past that guard. It was so close. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was maybe just a small little bump after they went out. But
Okay.
one of the best things about curling is the sportsmanship, right? You had both teams just saying, "Is that good? I'm good with that. Are you good with that?"
Yeah, exactly. And they, if you notice, they called the official over for a technical timeout. It doesn't even mean that the official comes in and intervenes. It's more so that they can pause the timer and make sure that the time
threw
they
up last
take
time.
to fix the situation doesn't eat up either one of the team's 30 minutes to play the game.
And you're seeing some of that experience from both of these skips, either having played here in past seasons, having played with timers before at 5 and under nationals. Not every team has always played with the timer before this event, so
Yeah.
them knowing to just immediately call for that, protect the time, be in good shape, make it easier on the volunteers doing the timing this weekend.
Absolutely. And if you don't know what the timing is, you'll see behind the ice here, there was the 26 minutes and the 27 minutes.
Close.
Really, it comes down to that each team has 30 minutes to play their game. And it's the thinking time. This looks like a good one.
Really nice.
Sitting 2 here is key for Parks.
Might as well take it on its first.
Mellon says he's gonna take it on. Since it's the first end, he might as well. He's going to go for the double
Probably
here.
about
Pretty natural angle on that
Here,
double
I mean,
too.
it's fairly thin,
Can
yeah,
kind of see it
pretty
from
I
where
like
we're standing here. It looks
third.
like a pretty standard double if he's able to hit really
Get
the
it to
probably
roll
half a rock or so.
Fairly, I don't want it to roll flat, so I'd rather throw my out at it. Probably like here with Peel.
Okay.
I don't know what it's gonna do coming off this center, but that should be close.
Throwing Peel here, inside out. You
Fine
heard him
taking
say
it
he
on
doesn't
him
know
in the first, so
exactly what the ice will do here, but I would say this is a fairly good berm
Peel
placement.
Yeah, and if it overcurls a little bit, he's nosing it for one. As long as he takes out that rock, giving up a steal in the first is it's not great, but never a huge deal.
No. Either way, I think making contact with one is going to be key here.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Hard!
Yep. Yep.
Hard! Ah,
Try.
try.
Just a little bit less of a
Yep.
curl. It would have been
Yep.
Good end, ladies.
would have been perfect.
So just rolls across the top, so we get a steal for Team Parks here in the first. So Hammer will stay with Team Mellon. We will be right back after a short break.
Okay, and we're back. Second end of the Mellon Parks game here. Featured sheet at Chaska Curling
We're
Club.
really wide.
We're
Watch
here for the
Frank
U5
coming down.
Nationals, and this
All right,
game
looks good.
is not necessarily important for seeding or for
it's
playoffs,
all
as
in
Mellon
now.
is already
yeah.
into the playoffs tonight, and Parks
The wide one.
was
Go
just
down
short of
more.
qualifying, but really, really important game to
Right.
get the feel of the ice and the experience here.
Absolutely, and a great opportunity for Team Parks to go out strong. You know,
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Never fun to not make the playoffs, but I think they're going to give us a good show here today. Anto, like with her first rock coming into the rings, if you ever want to meet one of the gems of people in curling, Anto is right up there. I had the opportunity to play against her multiple times over the past couple seasons, and this year, after playing against her and having a really great broom stack every time we played against
fun.
Anto, I was like, hey, can we play this year? So I was able to bring her in, play with her at Charlotte's 5 and Under this year, and I referred to her after as the Vibe Master General because she kept us all so positive, having a great time. Even when you give up, I don't know, like a 6-ender, still like having so much fun and making sure we all had a good spirit about it. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, these ladies seem really nice. I was out there taking photos a little bit yesterday, just helping out, and they were just having a blast, it looked like.
Absolutely. Anto does not. She has that perfect mix of wanting to be competitive,
of course,
and wanting to continue to play in events like this in the future, while also keeping everything in perspective. If you ever play with her or against her, you're probably going to hear the phrase "curling isn't real." She likes to use that to help keep everybody calm, especially as there's so much of the physics and everything of curling that we don't know.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is still a game.
Exactly.
Nice rock.
Really nice pair from Anto.
Yeah,
overcurled just a little bit, but.
Yeah, honestly, it gives them a little bit of a chance to play a hit here, but it's the right side of the rock, in my opinion. If you're going to cover any side, it would be that right side.
Absolutely. It's always, when you're making, if you're ever going to miss, there's always talk about what's the pro miss here? What's the best way to miss this rock? And that's the way to do it. The reason for that is it because it helps the groups of rocks, or is that why you're saying that?
So if Jackson does make this hit and roll here, the yellow rocks are going to be grouped a little bit closer together. It's really hard to get the either nose, which it looks like he might be close to nose. A nice throw. It was really hard to get the rocks separated, right? So a hit and roll to the other side of the rings, it was almost impossible. And so it left Parks with an opportunity to be in a power position still. She can nose this and have nice 2 rocks right near the center line.
Looks like that's exactly what she's calling here for Kira Manayan out of California.
Yep. Control up. You got it. Yep.
Yep.
You got it.
Yep. Hard Anto.
Yep.
Hard.
Yep. You got it.
Hard.
You got it.
Hard. Hard.
Really nice.
Nice throw, Kira.
We got a fun comment on the stream here. This is easy 23. Is vest normal curling attire for this Mellon squad, or did someone just sneak out of their finance job in Wayzata to curl? So funny enough, the jackets that they're wearing, these black jackets, were made by Mellon Promotional, which is the Mellon family business up in Duluth. And they are jackets that look like this. They're a little bit thicker on the body, and then the sleeves are just a little thinner, which they thought would be ideal for the not hot temperature, but a little bit warmer climate here in Chaska versus Duluth. And then Jackson here on the left wearing his vest. I'm not really sure what he wore today, but he does not work in finance.
Sweep, guys.
Maybe he will after
Maybe.
someone hiring in finance needs somebody to look the part. They got him right there.
Oh, too funny. Yeah, they got their nice matching hats from Mellon Promotional. They're all dialed in. But I will say, I like the Parks team uniforms just a little bit more.
They are fantastic, and they just qualified only a few weeks ago, so they got these made on rush orders. They qualified through the Rocket City 5 and Under in Huntsville, Alabama, about 3.5 weeks ago. So
they were traveling a lot then.
They put that team together pretty last minute, and they are actually the only all-women's team to ever qualify through the 5 and Under national championships through an open qualifier.
Oh my goodness, very fun.
There are a couple qualifiers. There's at least one qualifier that is a women's only qualifier. So we have had some all-women's teams representing here at 5 and Under nationals, but this is the first team to ever qualify through an open qualifier. So we'd love to see more of that.
Absolutely.
Especially since pretty much every qualifier every year is an open. There's sometimes one men's and one women's event, so it's great to have some women showing us that what they can do.
Well, and we have so many qualifiers around the U.S., which is phenomenal. Every single event is put on by all the incredible volunteers and organizers. But to really get 1 or 2 teams out of each one, you need a lot of qualifiers to make that happen.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of clubs are doing great work. There's so much fun to go to. If you're a 5 and Under curler, I really encourage you to get out there. go and play in one. Even if you don't think you're good enough to qualify, go and play. It's going to be fun. It's a party at a lot of these events. And if you are not a 5 and under curler, go and watch. You're going to see some great shooting, and I guarantee you will have a good time.
Yeah, we went down to the Duluth Curling Club for the 5 and under last year and this last year. And they were playing over in Superior as well, I believe. Lots of good events to go and cheer on the boys. But
Absolutely.
so these gals, the Parks team, travel all over I mean, they have people from all over, right? That not everyone lives together.
Right. They've
the
never
same
actually,
city.
I don't believe they've never
little
played
touch,
together
fine.
before their qualifier in
I
Huntsville.
gotcha. Wow.
So they came together and they did a really nice job in Huntsville to play through that. I believe even 2 weeks before when I was in Denver playing against, I saw Jillian there, and I played against Alyssa in Denver, and they were still formulating the team at that point just 1 or 2 weeks beforehand.
Wow.
So they put it together last minute, and are still having a great showing here, winning 2 and 2 so
Absolutely.
far in their pool.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and
how
especially
much of a
since
tap?
the other 2 games that they lost were close.
Yeah, it looks
Exactly,
pretty
exactly.
back
That
eight,
their
natural.
game against James Grant Robertson. I mean, they're
Stay-
a
stay
hair away
close.
from
Exactly.
being right in
Yep.
position to make the playoffs.
We were
Gotta go.
watching the extra end of that game, and it
14-5.
was so
Whoa, whoa,
close.
whoa,
They had
whoa, whoa.
it was like made shot after made shot after made shot, and that's the best way to end a game, right?
Some of those draws they were making were just
alright.
incredible.
I don't know if I would have been able to make them with the way that they were curling and just the sweeping they were carving over. So
Rid of that
it's
one.
pretty great.
Yeah.
What side
I
do you
will
like?
always say arena curlers know how to
Yeah,
read
go this
ice.
way.
Oh,
So-
absolutely, they have to.
Yeah.
I with all of the clubs we've played at, my competitive team, Team Anderson, it's really fun, at least for me, to be able to go from club to club and just see the differences in the ice and the rocks.
Yep. Hard, Kira.
And I know arena curlers enjoy the opportunity to go to a place where they don't have to take rocks out of a freezer, don't have to
Whoa,
put the
whoa,
hacks
whoa.
in, don't have to try to find what the Zamboni line was.
Oh my goodness. I've only
good
played on
throw.
arena
Good
ice
throw,
once,
good.
and it was for the Lupus charity bonspiel. It was probably before COVID, honestly, Ben. And we had so many attendants. It was the Burr, Regan and Todd Burrs that put that on. And we had so many teams that they had to rent out a hockey
Like
arena
control.
nearby in order to put the event on, and it was so much fun. I had never played on arena ice before.
And it gets a little bit different when you get to club nights and arena ice, where maybe there's not as much prep time that goes into it. You're going to see some fun little S curves, or maybe
my
you're playing
goodness.
one side of the house. Like there's sometimes we found a path to the 4 foot, and that's all anybody can ever throw. So
And then it's just that throw
Stay
for
close.
over and over
exactly.
and over again.
Hope you like the same rotation for 16 rocks in a row.
Well, it must be
Yes.
pretty cool then for teams to come out on Chaska ice here and
Good.
play on some of the best ice in the
Really good.
country.
It's absolutely amazing to get on this. It's even amazing just sliding. It feels so different underfoot. Like every aspect of it, it's such a great experience for everybody.
We can't really do this because it'll clip.
Yeah, the Chaska ice crew here does a phenomenal job. I might be a little bit biased there as well because my teammate Taylor Anderson helps out over the weekend, and but they really do an incredible job. Scott and the crew making sure that this ice is top notch all season round. And obviously there are other clubs in Minnesota or around the country that aren't open year round, and it does make a big difference, especially for those of us that are training as much as we can, getting ready for next season.
Absolutely. I've had the opportunity. I was talking with Sydney Schroeder, who just won
Oh
the
yeah,
club
they just
win-
won the clubs.
Yes,
yeah.
and so she was talking about how they have to practice to get ready for playing at Rock Creek this
Yep.
fall. And so they're going to be coming up
Get my
here
side a
to the
little
cities
bit,
throughout
get
the
my
course of the
clip
summer a
back
couple
below.
times to practice and prepare for that.
Yeah, Sydney and Celeste, I had played against them in juniors, and they and the girls did a great job at clubs. But,
Her draw weight was incredible that entire weekend.
oh, so fun.
So Alyssa trying to make a hit, and looks like roll under here. I think if she ever hits this, comes across the face of it, hits a little thinner, might actually almost get a double and jam under her guard. Might be floating a little bit wide though.
Yeah, this is that tricky spot where if you set it out just a touch, just like Joe did earlier on in the game, it doesn't want to come back, right? And even though this ice is phenomenal, there's still little things that you have to make sure you're watching for. If little set here with the release, or a little wide there, and it just won't come back. Very sensitive ice.
And as much as we put a lot of practice in here,
Room and just kind of like.
yeah, it looks like as 5U curlers, sometimes our deliveries aren't necessarily the most consistent in the world.
course.
So there's always, and even at the highest level, there's still going to be misses on slides or potentially a release there. So talking a little bit like maybe it was on her release that she came out on hard there.
Yeah, that's what I heard her say. it's unrealistic to expect yourself to make a shot and slide perfectly every single time. I mean, even at women's nationals this past couple months in New Jersey, the ice was so great, but there were some times where you slide out a little wide, slide out a little narrow, and you got to fix it.
Yep.
Yep.
Great comment here from Max that Parks also qualified through Rocket City last year, again with
Grab
a team
something
that had
right
never played
out of my
before the
hand.
event. So absolutely, I know she is. I've heard her mention it before. She likes to play with a lot of different teams and kind of find different matches of how personalities can work together. So really great example of how you can kind of work together to do what you need.
Absolutely. And it's about the group of people and how they come together, and it's the relationship, right? My ladies team and I have been together, just finished our second season, and it's all about the team building, and that's great. But when you have a team that comes together a few weeks before and you can be able to simulate that natural, ease of playing together, it's phenomenal.
And I've had the opportunity to see Alyssa play with a number of different really good curlers throughout this week. And this is nothing against them, but I think this is the best chemistry I've seen her have. This is the most fun I've seen Alyssa have playing in a while.
that's great.
So it looks like this team is a really good fit for each other.
And this is her last year, right?
I believe so, yes.
Hard!
Looks like they're
Whoa! We're crashing.
sweeping hard here.
Okay.
Not what they were looking for there. Mellon has an opportunity to put up another center guard, potentially steal, but it's that trick of the release too, right? You have a little bit more straight of a release or a little bit softer, and all of a sudden it just takes off.
And you're flipping from out turn to in turn there as
Yeah.
well, so you have to play with some different
Well,
things. And we've seen throughout the course of the
make sure to
weekend,
keep
it
it
moves, again, a little bit more away from that side of the sheet, so she's kind of playing the heavier curl side on that. Maybe
Same
have
weight.
to make some of those adjustments as well.
Yeah, and it looked like Derek and Jackson were just cleaning the ice in front of the hack there, and so maybe Alyssa's rock did pick something as she was sliding out. There's so many different factors that can go into play.
So looks like Matt's playing a hit here. If he can hit and stick, this will be for 4-3 here in the second end.
Clean. Yep.
Yep,
Whoa,
yep.
whoa, 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 on its
it's
own.
clean. It's clean.
It's clean.
Really good. It's really good. Beauty. Three.
Oh, and we were talking so much I didn't realize that was the last shot. So they went and hit and stick nose for 3. Mellon up now 3-1 over Parks after the second end. We'll be right back. We're back for end 3 here. Just a note for all those watching and wanting to get updates on the other sheets. We're going to try to get the scores for all the sheets onto the stream so you guys can be updated not only here but on Curling Zone.
Back 8.
And again, if you did want to see especially what's going on sheets D through F, you can tune into you can also hang up with us, but open up a separate tab
there you go.
for sheets D through F. You can never watch too much curling, right?
Never too much curling.
Solid
It's
little
the best
pop
when we
on that
have
one,
maybe
all
the big TV at home and you have, left side on one broadcast, right side on the other broadcast. What TVs can do now is phenomenal.
Having multiple monitors at home is
Yep.
is a blessing and a curse.
Joe's sister and brother-in-law back home, who I think are watching. They have a living room or a family room in the basement, big middle screen TV that's probably, 60 inches or so. And they have 2 side-by-side TVs, one on either side, in order to make sure they have all the games on that they need to watch.
Fantastic. Last night you could have been watching The stream here could
Yep.
also put up the
Oh,
Timberwolves
the
and
Wolves
watch the
game,
Twins.
yep.
Like, you could have all of that on.
I went to bed at the halfway mark, but it looked like a good game until then.
Alright. That's good.
Too late for me though. Madison Max comments again on the stream. Good to see you. Both naturals for this job. Well, thanks. It's definitely not our day job, but happy to be here. So third end here, Parks has hammer down 2. Would love to see them score multiple here.
Mine's good.
Ideally, taking advantage of a couple misses by Mellon. We'll see where this goes.
Yeah, that one was a little bit deep on their first. I didn't see. Did
Yeah.
he call into the
Line's
house
fine.
on his first?
I believe he called
Really
into the
nice.
house, kind of expecting Parks to throw up a corner guard.
Should be all here.
I think the call here was
Sitting.
center
Alright, Jax,
guard.
that's a good
Came
throw.
in a little deep here. So not the worst, especially since it's so high in the house. It does leave Parks an opportunity to hit and roll though, which they would have loved to stay out of the rings for yard zone roll.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no way for them to roll to. Yeah, there's no way to roll on this side with that guard there to still roll and sit as a guard. So
Right.
any roll they get is going to be in the house.
Yeah, and for those of you who aren't all in on the curling knowledge, if Team Mellon would have came up just a bit short and not gotten into the rings with their yellow rock just then, Parks wouldn't have been able to hit it out of play like they could have here. So honestly, this isn't even a bad shot either. Nice split onto the side.
Oh, I really like that. It's keeping the play off to the side. With hammer, you
Control.
always want to try to keep your scoring area as big as possible so that when Alyssa gets into the hack for her last shot, she wants to be able to throw to the widest area possible to score multiple points. So that split does a really nice job of that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
It forces play to maybe play
Yep.
some of these wider lines that can be a little tricky too.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I didn't see the call here, Ben. Do you know what they're throwing?
They're trying to play a hit here on this red rock in the
Hard
back
for a
12.
piece, never off. Hard for a piece.
It's like just a
Try
little
it.
bit lighter than they had planned. Tricky out there on the wings. The ice
Got
crew
it,
was
yeah.
also talking about potentially sanding the rocks again this morning or at some point today before playoffs. And I'm not sure if they did that. Did you hear anything?
I don't know if they did at all since yesterday, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So sanding the rocks
Yeah.
really just brings that
We can sleep
the curl back in the rocks. And I don't know if you guys chatted about that before, but on the stream. But really the sanding of the rocks every couple days, especially during competition, can really increase the amount of berm you have to take, and not only draws but also hits. The rocks just swing a lot harder.
Yep. 3, 2. Yep. Stay on it. 2. Stay on it. All right.
Really nice sweep from Anto
Same
and
thing, Dee.
Jillian just to get that rock as far down as they can. That they would maybe like those corner guards to be a little bit further out, but still doing a good job adding a little bit more traffic out front.
Yeah, just a little bit over onto the right, a little bit more of a corner would have been ideal
Green.
to create that space that you were talking about earlier,
Green.
making sure the house can stay as large as possible.
Yep.
Because they're closer
Yep.
to the center, Mellon could
Whoa,
potentially
whoa.
throw a draw around and be closer to the center.
Stay.
If he hit and sticks
Try, Dee.
here, though, well, just rolls out. Hit and sticks there, it
Sorry,
really
Jax,
creates
you're,
pressure
you're calling normal
for
there.
Parks to make sure that
Yep.
they don't have
Right now,
multiple
guys, six.
stragglers around the
Four
edge
six.
of the house.
450.
Call was around these
I-
guards
I-
here. I don't mind it.
was
I would
probably
like
like
to
a
see
20.
them keep the house open. This could create a potential for Mellon to come in and
You got
shrink
it.
the scoring zone.
Yeah, and this is what you'll start to see a little bit from Parks as the game goes along, especially as they're behind. She likes to try and get, if she has guards in play, find some way to get under them. It can make her last shot a little bit tougher, but she's at least sometimes trying to force the opponent
All right, line's
to
good, line's good.
play
Wait
down
only,
to
wait
them
only,
and
top
hang with
four.
them on the
Right.
draw game.
Which honestly,
top
it still
four.
works.
Wait only,
and
wait only.
making sure that you have shot rock at the end is all that matters. Ideally, you want to stay just above the tee line here. It looks like it's
Really
coming in
nice,
just a
Kira.
little bit hot.
And lost
Still a
some
great shot.
handle too, so it kind of
Nice throw, Kira.
it kind of was a little bit tough to judge the line on
Yeah.
what that one was going to do, as kind of lost its rotation.
Yeah. The biggest thing here when I'm playing with my ladies is if we're behind the tee, make sure you're well behind the tee, because this really creates a pocket for Mellon to draw in and freeze. And, Parks is going to have a hard time getting their rock out if Joe places this good.
Play for T.
Playing for T. They don't want to tap if
Okay.
they can help
Stay
it.
close then, Jax. No, line's good. Line's good. Straight, straight. You guys can't hurt it. 15-2. Whoa, whoa. I
It's like
lied.
really close.
Right to the face. Freeze it on. Good job.
Really nice shot by Joe.
Beautiful weight control. And you heard Matt say 15-2, so 15.2 seconds from hog line to hog line.
Yeah.
That's an incredibly fast ice here. See what we can get on this one.
Little loud. Nope.
We got no line. We got no line.
14-4 here. Don't know how accurate my button pushing was on this timer, but it's a pretty cool feature here. It looks fairly close.
I think you're pretty accurate. It's-
Might have been closer to a 14-7, 14-8, but we'll call that operator error.
Same weight. Pro side short.
So looks like Joe's going to try and throw the same shot here. Or is he playing a hit? It looks like he's
I think
actually
he's
playing a hit.
throwing. Looks like
Okay. Bee's eyes, Jax.
about just
Looks
down
very
to
similar
it.
to me.
Got a curl.
They're
Looks very
calling the
similar
same
to
weight
me.
here.
Got a curl.
Yeah, go ahead, Jax. Whoa. Go a little. Good, Joe.
You've taught him well.
I don't know. I try. He has a lot of really great help around the Duluth Curling Club. There's so many amazing curlers up there, and the community does a great job of helping continue to teach and learn more and more.
What an absolute awesome thing, especially for curlers in like places like Duluth or here in the Twin Cities, Madison, Milwaukee, to have some really good curlers that are there to help develop that some of these adult curlers that we have just now starting to get into the game.
Absolutely. When I can take a little bit of time off work, Joe and I play on a Thursday at 1 p.m. league. It was started by all the golfers in Duluth that joined the curling club to have something to do in the winter months. And the Thursday at 1 p.m. league has, John Schuster, John Landsteiner, Chris Plies pops in every once in a
But
while,
I don't
Corey
wanna-
Dropkin.
I don't want to do this until the end.
Joe and I will
just-
play with
I'm
his
thinking
Uncle
just
Sammy,
here.
and it's just a really fun time to bring everybody
The
together.
only other thing
when
that I
we can
see
get away
them
from
having
work.
is this, but I don't think it ever that's always going
We
in
are
the
very
pocket,
fortunate
so
in
I'm
that
not
way.
worried about that.
I
I'm
don't think
thinking
we're
just
getting this one out.
Started in Duluth.
I'm thinking just like here
See what they're saying here. They're looking for a
or even
guard.
It's anywhere
I
on
think
this
this is
line.
really good.
Okay.
Yeah. Make her draw harder. She buries the draw, I come on top. A little more. Besides curling extra few inches.
Okay.
Good conversation by the guys here.
I really like how Matt's not just thinking about where his shot ends up, what Alyssa's going to do, and
tight
if she
guard.
does that, what he's going to do after that. Thinking that those 3 shots ahead is something that skips, is probably one of the hardest things for especially
Absolutely.
a 5-meter skip to get used to, is thinking in that 3-shot sequence of, okay, if this, then that, then this. I really like their discussion there, absolutely.
A little more
Line's
positive.
nice. Where are we? It's got to curl a bit. Line's pretty good though.
Line will
Okay.
come, just go straight.
Yeah, line's good, you guys. As far as it goes, keep it traveling. Curl now, curl a little. Get it moving.
Not really.
Fairly okay spot. It's obviously a little bit to the left of where they wanted it to end up.
We
I
have
don't
clear
mind it though
hours.
because it blocks off that draw path even more.
Absolutely. It's almost better than where he was asking for it to be in a way, because there's no way in from that side, I don't
Yeah.
think.
She does have a shot through
Yeah.
the port, which they were
I
trying
agree.
to take away, but I would
definitely
say it's
expect
maybe a little harder shot than the draw would be.
Yeah.
We don't have the exact straight on angle, but
I gotta
from
figure
what we
out
can
how to
see,
get
it looks
around,
close.
like, maybe here.
Yeah.
She's forced to take the wider path because of that rock guarding the draw path.
Is that enough room though?
Huh?
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
That's all we got, right?
yeah, I think we're
Yeah.
here. got a bite button.
We have seen throughout the course of the week, if there is a little bit more curl on the side with these pillars on it coming from sheet D, they might have some kind of a draw path to maybe just cut
Top
Matt
button
down to 1. But that's going to be a very, very challenging
What do you
draw, and almost have to have a really light handle to, as you talked about earlier, to try and get it in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like the draw to the button here. I wouldn't mind some sort of hit because worst case scenario, you peel open that center guard or that corner guard they just placed. You still have, another rock to potentially get your 1 or 2.
Yep, gotta go.
Line's okay.
Yep, gotta go,
Yep.
Enzo. Go for line.
Always curl.
Curl it.
Curl. Yeah. Yep. Hard. Yep. Get it here. Yep. Yep. Let's go. Yep. Hard, 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 hard. Stay on it. Stay on it. All the way. Go, go, go. Hard, 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 hard. Hard, hard, hard.
Oh, line was
Okay.
perfect.
Wow. Just needed a hair more weight. Kira and Anto did such a
Oh, they
great job
did.
carrying that rock
Tap.
down the ice. Great sweep from them.
I'm just thinking if
It's
we
so
guard the tap,
defeating
is
whenever
there
I
anything else
play,
that she
and
could have?
we're just
Like if
a
she comes
couple
off that
inches
wing,
or
it's
not even a
always
foot
jamming.
away from making
If
it
she plays
perfect,
this
and you
up the
pounded it
middle,
the whole way. They
This
did a great
goes
job on the
at
sweep
best
test.
here,
Crotch.
here,
Let's listen to what the
stays
guys are saying.
here.
I think this goes out.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything there. I think
I
we're
don't
just
think it
guarding.
ever hits that.
I think we're just guarding the tap. Like here.
Okay, way out in the weeds then.
Yeah. Like,
You can't go down the center. That's going to get in play.
I know the only thing is, like, I'd really like to get the draw to here.
Okay, do you want to go this way then? Through the port?
No.
You
I
still
don't want to
wanna
open
go
anything
wide?
up. Stay out wide. If we can get past it as tight as possible, because he's probably playing the tap this way.
Halfway?
Hair less. She's got a tap for 1 either way.
Out of curiosity, do you ever play this board weight double and sit right there so their draw's impossible?
I mean, it's really good if we make it,
Yeah.
but I don't want to ever have that yellow loosen that back red. Because no matter what, I don't think they can get 2 unless I get surprised. Just tight. 2's fine.
I liked that conversation by the team. Even Derek adding in, what about this shot? And Matt's like, you know what, it's a risky one. Let's try this and make sure we at least force him to 1.
I
Really
love
spinning,
that,
it's always
having
curl.
that
Line's
comfortability from the front end to add in
Jackson,
and then
knife
getting
it.
the reasoning. I like that. That could be good, but
Car,
here's
looks
why
heavy.
we're going to not do that.
Wrist jacks.
Just knife.
Trying to carve it over
17.
here, get a little bit
Should be like
more
top 12.
curl out of it.
A little farther, a little farther, a little farther. Good throw.
Good.
Good sweep by Jackson, getting it over.
One of the other benefits of Anto's previous shot, and you heard Matt say this, is they can make it either way. So you're really just trying to take away whichever shot. It's able to take away the shot they just threw, so she can't throw the exact same thing each
Exactly.
time.
It gets there with draw weight. It's almost got to be like back line.
Forcing her to play a new
I mean,
line,
I don't think you
new
ever put
weight,
this in.
everything.
No, what I'm
I think
worried
if
about,
anything, you
I'm
crash
trying to
into
come
ours.
through here and clip
Yeah.
that, so it just does this. The problem is if I ever hit it thick and it doubles those out,
Yeah.
then they score 2. So it's really dangerous.
I mean, if you run this back here, I don't think that gives them 2.
I think I can draw through that port.
No.
Okay.
This is where that ended up.
Let's just throw like maybe back 4 weight.
Yeah.
Maybe I put more spin on it than normal.
Okay.
That's what I'll do. So give me like, if I'm gonna put spin on it, then maybe,
Run straighter.
yeah, so maybe like right here.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna hang on the side for a while.
Yeah.
And then you'll just have to, and that's not as dangerous.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Okay.
I liked that conversation too, especially when Jillian was like, "No, it's not going to make it through that port," because it's pretty easy to say, "Well, it looks like it might be enough," and get your hopes up, and all of a sudden you're tapping them in for another of some sort.
Exactly, and that's a great example of keeping that mental log of knowing what the previous rock did or how another rock got to its spot.
No,
Was being able to say, no, that went here, so I don't think that's going to make it.
We're gonna try to see if it'll curl and clip the red one and tuck it in. But if it's ever heavy, then I don't want to. That we could give them 2 instead of just 1, so we got to be careful with it. So just T-line weight.
Well, and the experience by Alyssa being able to say, you know, I'm going to add a little bit more rotation here. Let's take this much broom instead. It just shows her expertise.
Absolutely. She puts a lot of time and effort into improving and watching and seeing what she can do, and I think this is where having some of the resources she has playing with Julie. I know she's worked a lot with Greg Major down in Houston as well.
Oh, very fun. Definitely added a bit more rotation here. We'll see how it ends up. That extra rotation is just going to keep it a bit straighter. You're allowed to take a different path then.
Okay.
Oh, it was right on line until the end.
Maybe we need a hair more weight just to try
Just
and
a
get
little
through that.
bit. Very close on both.
But she knew she could only miss that light. She didn't want to miss it heavy
Exactly.
and make that mistake.
Make
so
that double.
really
Definitely
smart.
tolerance. Yeah. Okay, we'll be back in just a few.
I want it top 4.
This is a 3, Mel.
Okay,
And we're back
Just
here in the
split center
fourth
then.
end with
anywhere on center's
Mellon
fine.
now up, I believe,
Let it-
4-1.
Let it die, it'll go. Good, Jax.
Park still has hammer. We got a center guard here from Team Mellon, so they're trying to
Yeah.
keep
I
it
know.
tough here for Alyssa to generate some offense.
Actually, let me do this side.
20. Yeah.
All right, yes, gotta go then, yep. Okay, whoa.
I know.
Sorry guys, we can't be on this one. The answer was a 2. All right, that'll work. That'll
Still
work.
on center.
Okay, so Mellon ended up stealing 1 in the third. Going into the fourth without Parks has hammer. Ideally, hammer in the evens. You want to get your 2. So don't mind getting that little wick off, creating almost a corner guard there for him.
Exactly, and they were able to not hit it too much to move it off of the center line. So we are playing with the no-tick rule here at 5 and under nationals. So what the no-tick rule means is that in those first 5 rocks, any rock on the center line cannot be ticked off of the center line. And if it is, the non-offending team has the choice if they want to either put it back to where it was or leave things as they were. But because that rock, it can still bump it. It just has to make sure it stays on the center line above the house.
All right.
Next speed of fury. Yeah.
Looks like we're going to potentially get a lot of rocks in the 4-foot here.
I know, I like it. Jackson ideally wanted to stay above the tee on that last shot as well. Just came a little bit deep.
Yep.
Gives Parks the opportunity to drive right up on top of it.
7, 8. 8. All right, line's good. 7, T.
Alexi, you've curled at the highest level here in the U.S.
Yep.
What's been your takeaways here this weekend, seeing, I mean, obviously you've seen a number of different 500 events throughout the season now here at Nationals. What's been your takeaways about the development of curling here at kind of this grassroots level for adults in the country?
I guess, yeah, great question. Biggest takeaways for me has been just the commitment and the dedication by all these curlers. I mean, every single person here has been so nice and has also been doing a lot of traveling to make it happen. And it's not that I expected less, it's just very cool to see. I guess commitment-wise and just practice-wise, it looks like everybody's getting as much ice as they can. I've heard stories of people driving 4 hours one way just to get league time in, and same thing as you said, it's arena ice with grabbing your rocks out of the freezer and putting the hacks in yourself, and we just don't have to do that in Duluth, and it's amazing to see the commitment there.
It's always interesting. I watched a ton of 5Q curling throughout the season, and it's so interesting seeing when you watch, you know, where somebody qualified out of, and you go and watch them from their qualifier to here at Nationals, the amount of growth and the improvement that I've seen from so many of these teams. It's like you're watching a totally different team all of a sudden, because, you know, where they were maybe missing Broom a little bit more consistently in their qualifier, suddenly they're right on it every time. You can see the impact of that practice that the time that these teams are putting in.
90, maybe 85.
Yeah, it's phenomenal to see.
85 is totally fine. 82. What's the weight? Yep. Yep. Hard for line.
Calling a draw here, and it looks a little bit heavy, but the line
Line, come on.
might be a bit tight, so they're going hard for the sweep. Trying to plan B here, a little tap on there.
That's really nice.
One on the top 8.
What a beauty.
Nice shot.
Beautiful.
Worked out really well.
Wow.
Jillian bringing the positive vibes here. I love
I know,
to see it.
I love it.
Get rid of this. This should at least run in. Trying to hit it pretty thin. Okay. Firm, out turn. I want you to hit here.
Left, yeah.
Firm.
Hitting red first, trying to kind of crouch it.
So
Out turn.
what are they trying to accomplish here with this rock?
Yeah, I'm fighting my internal dialogue a little bit because I wasn't sure if I should comment on the call or not. The double peel here by Derek and Team Mellon ideally would open up the center line here so they can access the red rock that's right on the button. I love that. That's what I was hoping they would call.
That's some pace. Pretty good.
And honestly, it's because I didn't think they needed to touch their yellow rock on the center line. However, those 2 red rocks were the problem rocks. I always like to think about what rocks are causing us the most difficulty right now, allowing us to accomplish our goal. And in Mellon's eyes right now, the goal is forcing to 1 or stealing 1 would be ideal. In order to do that, obviously, you don't want all those stragglers, the red rocks around the side. You also want to make sure the rocks can stay closer to the center and force the Parks team to draw right to the button.
75.
So when you find yourself in Park's situation here where it looks like those 2 rocks are lined up really nicely potentially to make that red run, how do you manage this if you're Parks?
Yeah, so difficult now because it looks like either there's a gun there. If you hit that top yellow anywhere, it might go right back into the red. If not, then it's not a problem, and the stagger is actually helping you. In this situation for Parks, I think anything top 8 foot or top 4 foot would have been great. Obviously, she just came a little deep in here, but it's still biting in the back, so it might come back into their favor later on.
I'm thinking that might drag.
Yeah, Mellon thinks it might
drag out turn.
drag into the gun and just shoot right back into the red.
You're trying to catch like a quarter, get rid of both. I think it drags out turn side.
Okay, so normal.
Yeah, normal up.
Okay.
So this is where I'd be interested to see their coach Corey Dropkin's comments after the game. I'd almost rather them throw the, well, Joe's a lefty, so what would it be? It would be an in-turn for him. In-turn draw or out-turn for the right-handed thrower to the top button. Sitting, you know, just top 4, top button, not messing with the guards at all. Making sure that they are shrinking the scoring zone, and obviously shot rock is great when they don't have hammer. Just came a little. Oh, he caught himself from swearing. Good job. Just a little wide there, and it didn't quite get where they wanted.
Now that would have been entertaining for me
Oh,
to see your
yeah.
reaction to that one, but
Well, thankfully, I think they have a bet or something going on between all the
unless
teams.
you
If
can
you
get
do
through
swear on the
here.
mic, I think there's a donation to a charity of sorts. So
It-
they're trying to catch themselves, but we like donations to charity as well.
No, we need something up here. Do you like this or do you like this? Okay.
I like the out turn here for them.
410.
Anywhere biting top 4 would be great.
Do you ever think that yellow now corner guard is causing
about
them
this?
challenges to get to that
Oh,
4 foot?
Okay.
A bit, yeah. Both sides, the yellows on the side are kind of causing problems. The right corner guard and the left one that's half on top 12. The one on the center line is kind of helping them. It's guarding their shot rock just behind the button.
Okay.
If you could ever get to the side of the 4 foot here, potentially, or maybe even a little bit above that.
Yeah, I really like the call that they're throwing right here because ideally you want to open the scoring zone a bit, play
Yep.
away from the center.
Yep.
They're getting some good separation from their shot rock.
Whoa, whoa,
If they
whoa.
can make this nice off to the side, it'd be great.
Okay. No. Leave it, leave it, leave it.
Take
Good throw.
advantage of the fact that that yellow corner guard is there
Yep.
helping them
Yeah,
out.
Nice.
it is helping them right now. They need corner guards to get multiple.
And that's a beautiful
That
draw,
is a
too.
really good draw. I love that where that ended up.
All right, let's make this tap.
Fantastic shot from Jillian Langham. She's out of the Denver
He doesn't
Curling
wanna
Club.
lose the red,
So
so it's
as
probably-
someone
maybe he
from
does.
the MACA, Mid-America Curling Association,
lose the
shouts
red?
out to Curling Club of Houston and Denver
Yeah.
Curling Club
Okay.
for being well represented here.
So that
Great shots there, and I know she got
Normal.
her start as well on arena ice at Oklahoma City. So making some great shots, showing what she can do.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
green. Yep. Yep.
Gotta go.
Hard. Whoa.
Yes.
It's over curling. Trying to get the side one.
Rolling for.
All right.
Not exactly what they were looking for. I don't mind where it ended up,
Right,
but ideally would have wanted to make contact on either of the reds.
So for Park Sue, do you ever try and just see if you can get it partially buried under that yellow to kind of serve as almost an extra guard on that red while still kind of helping to protect
Actually, like
what
coming
you
the
have
same way
sitting
and
so
sit
far?
right here. Okay. Hey.
I was waiting to hear what she had to say there. Ben, I really think that out turn, half buried, just like you said, would have been perfect. I don't mind the in turn here, but if you were half buried, it really eliminates the opportunity for Mellon to have a double opportunity.
We're tight.
Ideally,
We're
Parks is
tight.
trying to make sure that they don't create a double that's
Yep.
easy for Mellon to throw.
Whoa. 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 Get that tick. Yes, that's where I want it. Yep. Whoa. Right there. That's good. I like that.
That was the plan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like they drew it up.
Yeah, always like those little
So we're two
little
still?
ticks and placing them
Yeah,
perfect.
We can get at that, can't we?
I didn't realize
I
that
don't. I mean, you
they
don't need to
weren't
remove the rock. Just move it to
second
here, right?
shot as well, though.
like-
So
Well,
knowing
I
now
don't even
that
want it in the rings, 'cause
Parks
if
is
this-
1,
If
Mellon's
this were to
2,
roll out,
let's listen to what
you
they have
give
to
them this
say.
open hit. I don't want this lingering. So I think I'm throwing like board weight to here. Hit and roll to here. I'm probably giving her this.
Just worried about getting by that board weight. Looks like you would have to throw like back line weight to get
From
to.
my hack, I think I'll see a lot of it.
Okay.
So I think it's just this with like board to hack. I'll let you know if it's hack when I get down there. But let's plan for board right now.
Okay.
You got like 3/4? Okay. Forward weight, hit and roll Derek's way. Stay here more, Joe.
It's a pretty tight port to navigate here on this shot.
Yeah, I was thinking as well, just the tolerance here, the pro side. As you mentioned earlier, it doesn't always have to be a perfect shot as long as you get something out of it. So let's see what they do here.
Yep. Hard, Jax.
Hard! Hard!
Gotta dig, Jax.
You gotta go!
Gotta hold it. Fingers took off.
All right.
Little camera error here on our end. Sorry about that.
Try to guard up
We'll
here.
get caught back in a second.
We got to score too, boo.
I mean, I know, but
Well, what is the guard going to do for us?
prevent them from.
From doing
Okay, thanks for
Preventing help us
being patient with us. So that little wick of melon here just tapped Park's rock to where the other red one was behind the corner guard. Honestly, interesting
This is scary.
interesting sheet here now. What do you think, Ben?
I hear you.
I think this comes down to you have
mean,
to look a
you
little
could
bit at
try
the
to, like,
scoreboard at this moment.
nose that.
I almost kind of like it's a dangerous
Nose
shot.
that,
What Alyssa's talking about right here is trying to
Yeah.
run this yellow back. If you can ever make that double, and you have to hit that just high side, you're also going to then effectively guard your red. So that perfectly made shot sets you up sitting 3 really nicely.
if
But
we
there's
hit
a
it-
lot of risk that comes with it.
If we hit it like 7/8 this way,
Calling a timeout here,
It-
so we'll see what the coach has to say.
doubles that out, and we're sitting 3 or 4.
It's true.
Now, there's a lot of ways to miss it.
There's a lot of ways to miss it.
I like this angle. This is what we were trying to find when we were switching the cameras around. So
But I don't know how we're ever going to score.
this angle kind of shows you the
What do you like?
angles of the double that they're calling.
Yeah, you need to get more than one.
See what coach has to say on the double of the yellow rocks. One in the top 12 and one in the back 8.
Yeah, try to double.
You do like that?
Okay.
So really just a tad off nose on the right.
Yeah.
This side's straighter than this side.
Okay.
Red's running straight.
So do you think I should-
particularly for you and Jillian?
Okay, so do you think I should throw normal at it and tighten up the ice?
Yep.
Yeah.
And mine haven't been curling much.
Right. It's straighter on this side.
So do
than
you
that.
think the ice is like, if I want to, should I ice it right here?
Yeah, because you want to hit just off nose.
I want to hit right here, right?
Just barely off nose.
Right there?
Yeah.
So I should ice it here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
With
All right.
normal?
Let's do that.
Okay. Thanks, coach.
Great discussion there. I love that a lot of times teams look at using their timeout, trying to save it, hold it for a later end, but seeing the importance of this particular end, especially considering the scoreboard and a really great scoring opportunity for them that's been set up here. I love the fact that they just called their timeout here in the 4th, knowing that this is not a make or break end, but this is a really pivotal one considering the scoreboard and the situation they find themselves.
Oh, absolutely. In my ladies team, we often say the even ends with hammer scoring multiple is huge. Even scoring anything, right? If it's a close game.
And some great perspective as well from their coach, Julie Segovia, to point out straighter end versus the heavier curl end as well.
Whoa. Close.
Whoa, stay close.
This is one of those shots
Close.
where if it's made
Well,
great, it's perfect. There's a couple different ways you can miss and be dangerous. That's one of those ways that you can miss. Honestly, not as bad as it could have been. And I don't mean that as a dig on Alyssa. It's a very, very, very difficult shot that she just called, and
Yeah,
it's one of
like
those
over
things.
here,
It's like
though.
like you
Going
said, you
over
make
here.
it. It's an
Yeah, if I leave it
amazing
here,
end.
she's
Then
still got this.
if you miss
think
it just
it's
ever
here.
so slightly, it's
we just have to be
dangerous.
closer so
And
that the
she
nose
honestly
is in.
forces
She's
Matt
gotta
to have to
play
play a
4-foot.
really
Like,
precise
I think
shot
the-
here as
I
well.
think the guard is harder than trying to draw 4-foot.
Now, because of
Like,
how
even if I
that
only
clears
show
so many
half,
rocks
it's
out,
good.
Yeah,
that rock in the back 4-foot starts to look a little bit more lonely with these reds kind of covered up under this guard.
Absolutely.
So if Matt doesn't bury this perfectly, Alyssa might have another crack at a double for 3.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
Just a
Sometimes
sliver more, just to be safe.
one of the best pieces of advice I heard, and honestly, I don't even know when I heard
Gotta
it,
bite
but
4-foot.
sometimes the best
Go sit
guard
one,
is
two,
another
that's
rock in the
good.
house that shot. And in this instance, I would say that's the case. Getting another one, top 4, biting top 4, making
This is
sure that
easier
you
than
are
trying to guard.
at least getting the multiple out of the picture for Alyssa, I think is key here for Mellon.
Absolutely, but he just has to make sure that it gets buried enough under those yellows that are kind of on the top 12 there to ensure that he doesn't leave any kind of
Mine's
an
nice.
opportunity for a double for Alyssa.
Yeah.
Make
And this
sure
is
you're
where it's
biting for it.
important as
We're on
sweepers
touch
to
and
know
floor
if it's
here.
light,
Be careful
we need to
the
make sure we're
line.
communicating that, because then we could guard instead, right? On the right
gotta
line.
go, Derek.
Doesn't look like it's light though. Looks like it might
Carve
be plenty
it
of weight.
It's way out there right now.
Carving it over for line.
Carve it.
Carve.
Keep going. Make sure you're biting 4.
Right to my broom, guys. Keep her
Harder.
going, keep her going, keep her going.
Keep going.
It's a good
they're
sweep
all-
there.
Really good sweep. Great communication all the way down, talking about where that rock was running, how deep it was going.
It's just this for one.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I don't think there's nothing else.
Okay, we gotta hurry up.
Okay.
We're losing time. Just control.
Yeah, it was a good placement here. Just buried a piece of it, and so it eliminates that double for them to give Parks 3.
And I think this is one of those situations where sometimes a force is just as good as a steal, where you can get that force of one, get the hammer back going into the going into the break, and you don't necessarily always need to be scoring every single end.
Hey,
Getting
little
those
Les, I'm
forces,
throwing
and if you
bumper.
can convert on your hammer ends, you can build a lead really quickly.
Oh, absolutely. I'm very happy here being, if I'm Mellon, very happy given Parks 1. Having the hammer back in the 5th, I wouldn't be surprised if they blanked the 5th and tried to get multiple or at least one in the 6th. Kind of play that even end scenario.
Parks needs to hit and stick for the 1.
Nope.
We've seen this side run a little bit straighter.
Nope. Stand by. Nope. 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 Nope.
It's really close. There we go.
Nice shot.
Just use that catcher there. That's what we like in curling, right?
Exactly. Great use of the rocks that are in play. So Parks makes that shot for the single here in the 4th end. So we're going to go into our 5th end break. So we're going to take a little bit of a longer break here in 4th end break, excuse me. I'm used to watching a different level of curling. So we'll catch you all after the 4th end break is complete. Thank you for joining us.
Definitely not no sauce. I would take
Okay, and we're back. Fifth end here. Parks versus Mellon in the Sheet C featured game here. For those of you who are tuning in and weren't here at the beginning, we have some maybe a little bit biased commentary here. My fiance Joe is playing on Team Mellon with Derek Farrell at second, Jackson Purdy at lead, and Matt Mellon at skip. And Ben, you have a really great relationship with the Parks gals.
Yeah, I had the joy of playing Alyssa Parks twice this year, in Madison and then again in Denver. And Jillian I played against in the Phoenix 5 and under. I played against Kira in the Phoenix 5 and under. And Anto I have played against her multiple times last year, and then played with Anto this year.
Fun.
So Anto with coming into the house there. I think they might have been calling a guard, but still comes top 4 foot. So nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, good plan B. Fifth end here, Mellon has the hammer. Because that rock came in really nice in the top button, it's what we would consider a good scoring rock, and so they're totally fine with hitting it.
Good, Jax.
A little hit and stick or hit and roll would be fine, and he makes it great. Yeah, it is always a little bit faster after the mop and the fourth end breaks. Maybe that's why Anto came in a little bit, but again, it's not a bad shot.
Shouts out to John Landsteiner and Tyler George for that one.
3-4.
So you mentioned before in the fourth end the benefit of forcing Parks to 1, because then maybe you can aim for a blank here, try to flip hammer to yourself in the 6. What do you think the goals are for each team here?
Yeah, great question. If I'm Mellon, I'm happy with a blank, keeping the hammer in the 6th end and scoring 1, honestly, in the 6th is fine, being up 5-2 after 6. Wouldn't be bad to score 1 in this end either. Ideally, they'd want to go for 2 if they're Mellon. And Parks really, I think a steal is huge here. Otherwise, forcing to 1 and getting the hammer back in the 6, trying to score multiple like they almost had set up in the 4th. That would be their goal.
Yeah, we saw them starting to get their draw weight dialed in a little bit more in that 4th end. It's just really just an inch or 2 off of being set up really nicely and getting a big conversion.
Yeah, and that shot that Alyssa had, the run back double, I think, again, if it's just a little bit different, it looked like she took really great broom, or maybe just a little bit too much broom, but it was very close, just jammed on the back. Good sweep there by the guys. Having the 2 yellow rocks in the house in the first or in the beginning of the end is key.
And the way those are set up, it's really hard for Alyssa to get anything else in there to still kind of work some of the angles to her advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. There isn't really an easy double and roll to the center. So we'll see what they do here.
Hard, Jillian! Hard, gotta go! Hard all the way! Hard all the way, gotta go! Roll it, roll it.
Awesome sweeping.
What a great shot. Great sweep. Fantastic team shot on that one to
absolutely.
get all of that. Get yourself a couple rocks set up here in the center for now.
Yep.
Clear it. I don't mind just playing the double.
I really like the
That nose is
double by
good.
Mellon. Because again,
Verb.
you're okay with the blank here. You don't need any rocks in the house.
Does have to be careful that not to nose this. If he noses it, leaves a center guard there, which they can use, but it's also something that maybe Parks might try to draw around if they do leave this on the nose.
Yeah. A nose double here, I mean, at least your rock is the center guard instead of theirs. Honestly, this is a harder shot to get all of them moving. And I would say that is a very well-made shot. Leaves them probably shot rock, Parks on the side here under cover, but everything's away from the center. That's the biggest key for Mellon here.
Yeah. Wait, 3 or 4? 3 or 4? Instead of 4, okay. So yeah, it's up to all.
We had a couple comments in the stream here. I don't know, Ben, if you want to talk about some of the announcements they're sharing.
Yeah, so looks like MACA, the Mid-America Curling Association, will be having their arena playdowns here at Four Seasons Curling Club in the Twin Cities. Looks like that'll be July 25th through the 28th or 26th through the 28th, depending on how many teams we get. So that'll be fun. So for anybody that is here in the Twin Cities that wants to come watch some arena curlers, come out to the Four Seasons. You might see a few familiar voices there potentially for that. And it looks like registration opens for that on May 1st. So Would love to have some folks come out and cheer us on, especially for those of us traveling from quite a few of us from Texas. I know, I believe Exarban from Omaha will be there as well, having a team or two representing. So it'll be a fun time to get good ice here during the summer.
Oh, absolutely. It's the best. Four Seasons and the Chaska Curling Club here having ice year-round, like I mentioned earlier, it's incredible, especially for people who are trying to train year-round. And obviously, people are coming from all over for this U5 Nationals, but we heard a comment earlier by Trevor that there's a lot of Denver players here, and there are, right?
Yeah, we have quite a few Denver players. So we've got Jillian in this game representing the Denver Curling Club. We also have Team Rose, who's doing very, very well. Looks like they're playing against Team Hania from Fairbanks. So Rose win and into the playoffs. I'm not sure on tiebreaker scenarios, but I know if they win, they're 100% on into the playoffs. So they're looking really great this weekend. Sean Franey's their coach, and really doing a great job helping them prepare for
Always
this
curl.
event.
It's got to curl a mile. Curl.
You got it.
No, for weight.
Whoa.
Don't knife it unless you're trying to. Come on, ladies.
Okay.
Nice draw weight there. It might have left a little bit of a double for Mellon.
Firm.
It's very flat from what we see here, but
Yeah, you're kind of in a tough position on that one, because if you sweep that a little bit deeper, you have a double starting on that top red rock instead.
Right,
so
right,
it's,
right.
which one do you want to try and leave them?
exactly.
Whoa. Clean. Yep.
Yep.
Whoa. Whoa.
We love a
Yep.
call where it's yep,
Yep.
no, yep. It's my
Yes.
favorite to hear as a sweeper.
Flirt. Good throw.
Not a bad throw. This is a great opportunity here for Parks to start looking at forcing Team Mellon by the looks of it. If they can ever get a hit and then roll back towards the center of the sheet, takes away any double opportunities for Matt's rink to make. And that can be a great way for them to retain hammer into the even ends.
Yeah, and you're right. It wasn't a bad shot by any means. He made it almost perfect. It was just the there's really two things that you can change to make a double like that. You can either hit it just a little bit different in order to get that angle a little bit more powerful off the first rock, or you just throw a touch more weight and get that double all the way out. But this jam changes things a little bit, but I don't think that yellow's second shot in this example, so red's still 1 and 2. Still huge opportunity for Parks to force Mellon to 1.
Stead nose control.
I would say, given the way the rocks are now, Mellon would be happy to take their two
really
now,
gotta
switch
go,
from
Jax.
the blank if that was their plan, given the rocks that
Never
are around
off.
the rings. And getting one is, again,
Never off. You're
totally
holding it.
fine.
You gotta hold it more though. All right, Joe.
Just a little down weight on that one, I think. Going from that, upper peel weight to the softer control weight. Again, like you mentioned earlier, it's tricky on different ice.
That's a really tough adjustment to make, and going from just trying to just huck it down the ice to having to really pull back and play a nice controlled weight down.
I thought I made that first one perfect. God, so
Yeah,
close.
Looks like they're probably trying to put the rock back in a pretty similar position to where it just was.
Yeah, Jillian made it really good. Alyssa trying to do the same. Ideally top 8 here. You don't want to bring it too deep. Honestly, it's probably good anywhere above the T line as long as they're shot rock.
And can you help me just explain why you don't want it to be too deep back there?
Yeah, I mean
give me
anything behind the T line gives Mellon the opportunity to freeze onto it. It gives opportunity for a double. Although the way that corner guard is, the yellow corner guard in front of the red, I would say the double would be hard either way. So probably not a bad thing to go just behind the T line, but I would worry being too far back.
Whoa. Whoa. Nope. T's fine. It's gotta be less. Nope. Whoa. I think it's on its own. Just be near it. It looks okay. Looks a little heavy. Poutini.
Great communication from Anto and Kira as that rock came down. Really clear communication, constant communication, exchange of info between the vise and the front end to know exactly where that rock was going, what they needed to do with it.
Yep. Just where she wanted it.
Here. That nose is good. Make her stick on her last.
Line's good. Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Clean. It's really good. Yep. Go a little. Yep. You can go in. You can go in.
Perfect shot there by
Throw
Mellon.
him out.
Really nicely executed. As he said, make Alyssa make this hit and stick. She's got to be careful just to make sure that she's able to hold that line.
Yeah, and if Alyssa makes this well, just a nice nose, Mellon will have the same shot back and get his one. Alyssa could have a hit and roll under cover, technically, and make the shot for Matt a little bit more difficult. But I would say the call here would just be to play a nose. Sit there too. Alyssa would be in a good spot.
Yeah, you always want to make sure the first objective is get rid of that rock.
Exactly.
Get rid of any opportunity for them to score multiple.
It can be easy to be too cute and try to get that roll, then all of a sudden you're rolling out and defeated the purpose, right?
Yep, sometimes being too cute it makes it too ugly.
Exactly.
Stay by it. Yep. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. We're good. Nice rock.
There we go, nice shot.
Really good.
All right.
Again, USA Curling is so grateful for the donors that helped make this happen, and especially with this stream. We had Andy Miller, Ken Pomeroy, Matt Apesos, Tessa Brocky, David Hurst, and Ramin Gilbert that really helped make this stream possible, and we're really happy to be able to share these games with everyone back home, especially as the U5s is growing so large.
Absolutely, and if anybody wants to help make sure that we have streaming for this national championship or other different national championships in the future, you're welcome to make a donation to USA Curling, earmarked for the specific event that you want it to help support, so that way we can help to make sure that 5 and under nationals, for example, next year is streamed once again.
Ideally, we would love to have more sheet streamed so that we could have everyone featured. It's really hard to show every single team out here when there's only one featured game.
Grow it one year at a time.
Exactly.
Right? Nice shot from Matt Mellon there to make the shot, get his 1 point here in the fifth end. So we are going to move into the sixth with Parks having hammer. We'll be back after a short break.
Guys, deep. Line's fine. It's a hair tight, but I don't think you can go. 14-8.
It's dead.
On its own.
That's good.
Good, birds. Really nice.
Yay. Corner.
And we're back here in the sixth. So Parks having hammer here, trying to find some way to generate some offense, get a score of a multiple, where Matt would be really comfortable if they could ever get a, if they could ever find some way just to make sure that they can limit the damage, right? We had a chance for a big
line.
end in the fourth coming back this way
No
2 ends
line.
ago. So ideally trying to keep rocks in play, not as clustered up front maybe as they had the previous time through.
Yeah, cleaner end is the goal here for Mellon. Alyssa's chatting with Jillian here. I think the biggest thing that they're worried about is a guard was necessary there.
Control.
As much as a back quad shot like that is great in some ends, making sure that they had a guard there to generate some offense was key. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next shot we see Anto throw up a, is it Anto that's the lead here? Yep, Anto that throws a nice corner guard.
Yeah. And if this sticks, I wouldn't be surprised if she. Would you ever, if this yellow rock stays around, do you put that corner guard on the same side where you have maybe that backing, or do you put it on the opposite side where you try and just have less traffic?
Good.
Yeah, great question. It's
Nice, Jax.
really
Good
Skip's
pair.
preference. We've done both. I think usually you'll see teams go on the opposite side, so it doesn't have anything around. But in an instance like this, where you really need multiple points in the next couple ends, I wouldn't be opposed to the same side. Gives you that backing for later on if you throw a draw or whatnot. 2 is great here. We like to hear that.
Always curl. It's got to curl. It's got to curl. It's got to curl. Curl it all the way. All the way, all the way, all the way. Curl it, curl it.
They're
I
really
gotta go all
bringing
the way,
this
all the way,
over.
all the way. As far as you can, as far as you can, as far as you can.
Nice sweep there.
Yeah, great weight, great sweep to get that
It's
there.
tight.
Maybe wanted it a little bit further out, but
Even like a
the
2.5.
higher you get on some of those, sometimes that can help to serve as a better corner guard, especially if you ever decide to play another corner guard under it later to create more of a stagger on the corners.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't mind the high corner there. They definitely were able to carve it over a bit, which was great.
Good weight. 3, top 12.
And you hear the players saying 1, 2, 3,
Just
all
let it
these
go there.
numbers. And for those of you who don't know, a 1 would be the area just past the hog
Let it
line.
grind.
2 would be probably
Right
where
here.
that red guard just ended up, just midway. 3 is where Mellon's trying to go now, just before the house.
Well,
Looks
just
like
let
it might be
stop.
a touch high, closer to
Right
a
here.
2.
Good.
Yep, and those numbers then continue through the house. So if
Really
you ever
wet.
hear 4 through 10, it really is going back through each level of the rings. So the top 12-foot part of the red circle is the 4, the 8-foot is a 5, the top 4-foot is a 6, the button 7, and so on through the back of the house
Yeah.
as well.
It's really helpful, especially when we're sweeping and being able to relay very quickly where we think the rock's going to end up. It helps the skip a lot in the house know where the rock's
No.
expecting to go.
Never, never.
Still high.
Never, never, never. Never, never, never.
It's gone on the outside path there, Ben, I think, and wasn't coming back.
Rock still does stick around with the other yellows behind the tee, so there's at least some catchers that might help them out at some point later on in this end.
Mellon's deciding to throw another draw in here. Top 4-foot would be ideal. They're not hitting that left red one, I think mostly because they don't need to if they put the pressure here on the top 4-foot. Parks has to deal with them.
Play to bite 4.
It sounds like Matt said that yellow's sitting 2 here
Okay,
as well, so
yep.
that rock sitting third
Ja-
shot, there's a
Jackson's
lot of
off.
work that Parks has to do to make that rock come into play.
Exactly.
And putting another one in there creates that much more chaos for them to try to bring it into play.
Really want
Oh.
this to curl, though. You don't want it to leave
Carve,
a double.
carve,
We'll see what
carve, carve.
happens.
Keep going.
All right.
Great weight.
Really nice sweep at the end of that to
Yeah.
bring that as far as they could.
Great weight, great sweep. Just wanted a little bit more curl. It's not a bad spot at all, but gives Parks an opportunity to throw another hack waiter, little hit and roll, just hit shot.
Control down.
Yep. Yep. Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
She didn't love it out of her hand, but I liked that a
Right.
lot.
Yeah, it starts to spread things out a little bit more, creates that bigger scoring area, and those reds are really hard to make any kind of a double on those at all. So you have some now catchers for any rocks that sit out there.
Yeah,
I
I'd
think
probably
you're trying this.
play that if I was them. It's very difficult, especially to get
It's
the
really
double.
thin. You're probably losing your shooter, and then they wrap under.
I hear what he said.
I'd rather them play just the hit and roll, not go
I mean,
for the
can
double.
we just not focus on the roll?
Yeah.
We can use our timeout.
Yeah, I like the timeout here. Get Corey out here to discuss with them. They were leaning more towards going for the double. I'd rather, just get the one out if they can. Get that nice roll right to the top four. Have that power position over.
It probably does always jam, but
Absolutely, and you have to just keep in mind the big picture, right? What's the big picture of what you want to
My
happen in
first
this end,
thought
and
is
what's
this.
not acceptable to happen?
Try to get both moving. If you only kill
even if
the
it
one,
jams,
that's
right,
fine.
we're still one buried, which is pretty good.
Well, I don't think this is, if you get this, it's rolling out, but then they wrap and we can stack. So that was my only thought, but. My first thought, well, I don't want to risk it. My first thought was playing this. You're going to lose your shooter, but try to get both these moving. Let them draw, we stack on top.
I like that. That's my thought. You might even be able to get that guy counting over that. But I'd say focus on trying to make the roll.
Focus on the roll, even if this stuffs. Got it.
Okay, so focus on the roll.
Okay.
Get the one in the roll and then take the roll and make them chase you.
Do you like normal?
Yeah, I don't mind normal.
Normal?
I'd say either control or normal, either one.
Coming off center, or do you like it outside in?
I like outside in, personally.
Cool, so I'm thinking like for normal, just inside edge rock.
How much you seen it moving here?
For dead nose normal, I've given like 3 inches outside.
Okay.
So
Just maybe take edge.
take edge.
Edge or just inside?
Just inside. Okay. Good.
Normal?
Normal.
Okay.
Echoing everything you just said there. You should do this for a living.
Oh gosh, too funny. I'm happy that I agree, or that Corey agrees with me. I do think that's the best shot here. It really doesn't matter where that other red rock ends up as long as their roll is good.
Beautiful thing about curling is it's a two-step process. You have to strategize, but then
Yeah.
you also have to execute after that.
I would say the only thing that I would do differently if I were Joe here is I'd take the other turn, purely because I don't want to jam on our back yellow. But if he makes it good, it doesn't really matter. It's preference at that point.
Whoa. Clean. Curl. Curl. Keep going. Keep going. All right, Joe.
Not bad. Really close to where they wanted to. Just needed to curl a touch more. I'm a big fan of not having to wait for the rock to curl in order to make the shot. So for instance, on that shot, it was coming across the face. You have to wait for the rock to be in alignment of then the sweeper can come in and hold the line. Versus if he came the other way, you don't have to wait so much, right? You can have the sweeper on probably close to the beginning and be able to hold that line closer to where they wanted to hit it. A little flatter roll as well.
Hard!
Yes.
Hard, gotta go! Hard all the way! Hard!
See if Anto can hold this around the guard.
Hard!
Great sweep from Anto there. Oh, fantastic double.
Nice shot
Really
there.
nice shot. And suddenly that rock that was at
Nice
the back
shot.
of the house
Matters.
starts to come into play a little bit here. So now Joe
Getting
has to
firm.
try and make a double back to take this score of multiple, or at least eliminate the idea for now of having a score of multiple.
Let's make a good one. Yeah, it's got to be firm.
Trying to hit
so.
here.
Okay.
Clean. Yep. Yep. Hard.
Gotta go.
All the way deep. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Even the roll's fine. Get it a nudge. Good, Joe.
Two really great doubles back to back.
Roll.
Jillian with a I would say, slightly harder double. Not that Joe's was any easier, but getting that cross face one was really important there.
It was huge, yeah, for both sides. There's still a chance for 2 here. You have those staggered guards out front, so there's still some opportunity to generate some offense even as the end is winding down here. Good draw from Jillian makes this really tough on Matt to try to eliminate that score of multiple.
It's like the sweepers think it's a bit hot to start.
No.
Really needs to pump the brakes.
Sorry about that.
So easy, especially after throwing such heavy weight for that double. Come down and try to draw a top 4 and just be a little
Top
deep.
4?
Especially after making such a great shot on top of that. You maybe have some adrenaline pumping
Oh,
after
absolutely.
making such a great shot.
Whenever I'm playing at nationals and the ice is so fast, and you have to go and make a perfect draw to the button. We were playing against Peterson in the 1-2 game a couple months back in New Jersey at the American Dream Mall, and I had to make 2 really precise draws right to top button in the last end, and the adrenaline's pumping, nerves are going, and you have to force yourself to take an extra breath in the hack and slow down, make sure that you make it good.
And especially here at the 5U level, you start to learn the importance of making sure you give it to your sweepers.
Absolutely.
Involve them in the shot. Let them make the shot for you.
Yeah, you do not need to be perfect in many ways. Definitely utilizing your sweepers.
And we've seen that the front ends for both teams are really good sweepers. They've done a great job carrying some rocks. So you know that they're able to drag it for you if you're able to give it to them.
Absolutely.
Got a curl.
Keep going, Jax. Keep going.
Keep going.
Look at that carve over. It's crazy.
Speaking of front ends good at sweeping rocks.
Absolutely. It's been pretty fun to watch the Italian guys and Colin Huffman and all those guys be able to make magic happen when they're sweeping the rock.
I mean, even on the on the women's side, we have so many good sweepers. I can think of a few folks, a few of the ladies in Canada, just watching some of theirs.
Absolutely.
I mean, starts with Joanne Courtney, right? You have just some amazing people on the broom that just the amount of impact that they can have on the rock and how they can make so many shots for whomever is throwing.
Yeah, absolutely. Growing up, I would always look at Joanne Courtney and Miscue and try to mimic their sweeping patterns and body movements. It's incredible.
That's generally who I watch first to try to see how I can get better. Some of us only sweep 6 feet at a time, so it's not quite as important. But
still matters, right?
Never. No.
this rock really got to get over here to try and get a piece.
Oh, that's that path again, right? We played it earlier. It just hangs out there and it doesn't break. It's just so sensitive on the ice here.
Yeah, and I think she might have maybe overcooked that a little bit.
Okay.
Can probably play closer to hack. That looked more like a control weight hit. If you play that hack weight shot, you're going to give it a little bit more time to get over, get more opportunity for your sweepers to be able to help you make it, and then get that light roll underneath. You don't necessarily need to remove that shot, Rock.
I suppose, yeah. It's one of those fine lines where you can be too cute and throw that hack weight, which might have a higher chance of, getting to the center or getting to the nose. But then also at the same time, it's a little riskier as well. So you're right, it did look a little bit more than she had wanted to throw.
It's a really good opportunity for Matt Mellon to really tighten the screws here.
Lighter release.
Put a lot of pressure on Parks for her last shot here in the 6th.
Line's great.
Yeah, you place this good top house,
you guys.
You
gives
can go, yep, straight line.
Alyssa a harder shot here to get our one.
Gotta go line. Gotta go. Come on, right here, guys. Top 4. Or top 8, I mean. Come on. As far as it goes. Good sweep.
Beautiful shot.
I like that spot. It kind of Christmas trees off the.
I don't know if you ever get to it.
Yeah, it's almost fully guarded. She does have a piece of the button on the outturn side, so I wouldn't be surprised if she calls that.
Alrighty.
And we've seen Alyssa make a ton of really great draws all week, so she absolutely has this weight dialed in. The toughest part here is they just haven't played this draw path so far in this end. It's been a little bit, so might be a little bit frosty out there.
Gotta touch button.
Yeah, this is where it's really important as the front end to have a gauge, be watching paths throughout every single end, making sure that when the skip comes down and say, okay, what's the speed here, you're ready to go with knowing what the weight is.
Do you have anything or tricks that you use to help just try to log lines as you're playing through the course of the game as a front end?
Yeah, so my teammate Taylor Anderson and I are always timing. I mean, every single rock that goes down, draw or hit, we're timing the opponent's rocks to get that long time. I would not recommend timing other teams' short times, you know, the back line to hog, because everybody releases the rock so differently. But long times we're communicating paths, talking about the ice as it's changing, you know, discussing the curlier side, the straighter paths.
Yeah, I think you gotta go. Yeah.
This looks awfully close.
Oh yeah. Yep.
See if they can get it there.
Okay.
It's honestly a really nice line.
Very, very, very nice line. I think it caught them a little bit because the sweepers were saying how close it was at the beginning, and then all of a sudden it might have caught something and slowed down hard.
Could have been that frost that
Yeah.
is not playing out on that line quite as much. So they still eliminate some of the damage there, so only give up a steal of 1. So see if they can generate some offense here as we move into the 7th end.
Yeah.
I think we can go a little, right?
Plank top 12.
Line's great.
7th end here. Mellon stole another
Line's really
point in the
nice.
6th end, but the game is not over. We were just chatting about how scores 6-2, but a big end by Parks
16-0.
here and a steal in
Should be
the
able to bite
last.
8.
It's easy for teams to think, oh, I've got it. We're done, and not
Good
so
save.
much. Important to finish strong.
You got it. Front of guard. Yep. You're good. Good recovery.
Good recovery there by Anto.
Go!
Corner guard's really important here as well.
Curl. 1, 2. 2.
Always curl it.
1-2, great weight.
Yeah.
Really, anything that's a guard
Gotta
here,
move.
rocks in play is what you.
Yeah, even a center is fine, just
going.
something to bury around
Keep
later.
going. Keep going.
Good sweep from the front end, or from Jillian and Kira there to make sure that they were able to
Even
get
this
that
is
rock
probably
and try to
best.
move it over as much as they could. Sometimes we think
This
about
T
sweeping,
weight.
especially when you first start, you're told, well, sweeping helps hold a rock straighter, but the longer that you can sweep a rock, the more it's going to curl. So you can actually help get a rock a little bit deeper into a more of a curly spot by staying on it like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, the short story of sweeping is
pretty
carries it farther and holds it
close
straight,
line.
but once you understand
bit,
the the angled sweeping and directional sweeping, it's incredible.
About the same way, top 8.
You gotta go then. Stay on it. Line's really nice. Yep. Just get her past the guard. In and off. Good.
Good pair by
Go,
Jackson.
Jax. No. Hit.
Ideally, they would have wanted that first one to come a bit deeper, but I don't mind the positioning here.
So looks like Alyssa's just going to try and set one right in there, have it take a couple shots to maybe remove it, something that she can utilize later on in the end.
Yeah, I love freezing in the pocket here for them, getting something that Mellon's going to have to deal with later.
Gotta go. 3.
Gotta be a 4. Gotta be here.
3.
Yep. Stay on it.
Yep.
Yep. Gotta go.
It's dying.
All
What I
right,
really
curl it
love
out of the
about
way,
Kira's
please.
sweeping is the way that her head and her eyes are right over the rock, right over her broom as she's sweeping. I'd say for anyone who's trying to work on their sweeping, me included, it's how do we get our eyes and our head right above the rock and the weight fully over the
Top
broom.
4 weight.
If you can practice that footwork, which I'm still working on to get my feet out from under me and really head over, it's key for sure.
Yeah, she's a great example of seeing someone, especially at this level, who's clearly worked on their footwork and on their form,
I like that. So you gave him a
which
nice ad.
you know that you can work on your shot making all day, but there
Line's
at some
really
point
nice.
you need to really improve. You need to work on other elements of
His
the
eyes,
game
Jack.
as well.
Of course.
His eyes.
Yeah, and you mentioned Joanne Courtney
think you
and
can go.
Emma missed you earlier, but
15-5,
you also mentioned
you can
Carly
really go.
Burgess and the team Jones gals. I think they do a phenomenal job as well, women's curling.
You see some photos of them where
fine.
the still photo is just like they're
Here, throw it,
completely
D.
horizontal. It looks like,
Was that nice?
and the amount of like core strength that takes to be able to do that is incredible.
You gotta hurry. Yep. Draw.
The hardest for me is I still am a bit clumsy on the ice even after 17 years of curling, and it's hard to trust yourself to get your feet out from underneath you, and I feel like I still fall at least once a year at some point.
We're tight.
It's just
90.
Yep.
slippery out there.
Yep.
For some of us, all we can manage is 6 feet at a time.
Exactly.
What? What? Yep, gotta go. Oh, you gotta bring it all the way.
Yep. You got it.
They're trying to get in behind those rocks to use those effectively as more guards, and now unfortunately we just got basically 2 trios of
Yeah, I
rocks
don't
that
think those hurt us right now.
Yeah, I would agree with
Beat 'em-
Melon. I
beat
don't
'em
think
to
they
the
hurt him
floor.
right now, and wrapping another one around here and sitting 4 isn't bad. Just make sure you stay above the tee if you can, so you don't create a pocket for Parks.
exactly. It's going to be really important for Parks. I think at this point in
Okay,
the end,
never want to be deeper
it's
than
going to be
that.
really hard for them to start clearing rocks because there's so many different rocks that are going to take multiple
Line's
shots to
great.
clear up.
Just play top 4.
I wouldn't be surprised to see her just try
Jackson's
to continually
rock.
try and just get more rocks in behind those yellows as this end now progresses to
Keep
the
going,
second
curl.
half.
Yeah.
Curl distance.
I wouldn't have
curl
minded on the
distance.
last one if she would have called a hit instead of that draw around, but at that point she was like, we still have quite
really
a few
good
rocks, let's get one around. The rocks are really only top 12, top 8. It looks like maybe the teams are thinking, or that's feeling a little slower as it's getting down to the 7th end because all the rocks are coming up a touch light.
You got it.
Yep.
Normal.
Yep. Hard.
Yep, you got it. You got it. Angel.
Hard.
Hard, 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 hard.
Hard.
Yep.
You know, at this point, the sweepers are obviously getting probably pretty fatigued as well. How do you try and maintain throughout the course of the game so that you don't burn yourself out early to be able to make sure that you're able to maintain through a full 8-end or 10-end game?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many different factors, right? And when we play, they're 10-end games, and it's a lot of sweeping. Same as what Parks and Mellon have been doing here, and I'm sure a lot of other teams. We usually have one sweeper on hits, the inside
Top
sweeper,
4.
because it conserves energy for the other one. And sometimes we'll play all in-turn hits in one end. It's like one sweeper got a lot of the I don't know, the sweeping there, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, maybe let's throw some out turns for the next end. But no, I think it comes down to nutrition before games, making sure you're getting a good meal a few hours before the
Where-
game and feeling yourself right, drinking a lot of water, making sure you are keeping that energy strong for the whole game,
Little
especially
for
when you
line
get into
if you
playoffs
can.
and there's back-to-back games
Line's
I
fine.
don't
that
want
you
to
need to be ready
deep, though.
for.
Well, line's good.
I think the draw
14-5.
schedule for this
Just gotta sit.
Nationals has been a really nice,
Never.
really nice setup where
Never.
you're never going to have more than 2 games in a day. So that
There you
makes
go.
a huge difference just to be able to maintain it. That can still be a lot of games, right?
Of course.
For the teams that end up winning, they're going to be playing 8 games over the course of 4 days. But having to have a little bit of a rest break in between some of those games can be huge.
Yeah, and the timing of them, I would agree. It's been really nice, especially to watch this week. We don't have back-to-back draws, but you still have the organizers, the volunteers, the ice crew here the whole day. It can become long days for them as well.
And our AV crew as
Oh,
well.
shout out to Joel Dietz. We got a master behind the screen.
Spending a lot of time here at the club to make sure that we have a stream and a good stream, a great stream for folks to be able to tune in for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hard, Kira. Hard, Kira. Hard. Roll it out. Roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it.
I don't mind that. It created a little opening there for them to be able to throw that
Sorry.
double
I just
on
like
the
to notice
left
it.
of the
Hit
center
nose
line,
that. Hit that, actually.
depending on what Melon does
Inside's a
here.
pro side.
Okay.
The stagger
That
of the
nose is
center guards
perfect.
isn't great for Parks. I think they wanted to create a little bit more separation to have rocks to be able to run
You want
in.
control or normal?
Yeah, he said the
That's
pro
where-
side's no, or inside.
You want
When
control or normal?
when I'm sweeping, and some little
Normal.
things that can really impact the game is when you're a sweeper and you've just pounded the rock from hog line to hog line, be ready for when the rocks make contact to be able to take that little extra roll, if you can, assuming it's your rock. Get that alignment really good for being able to run in later.
Yeah, there's a lot to have to keep track of, and
Lot
also
to think about.
making sure you're not going to fall over any of those rocks
Yep.
too as they're going through. We've seen some. I know I've seen Anto jump a little bit to make sure that one of those rocks didn't catch her. So there's a lot to be juggling for front end. A
Good
lot of
job.
coordination that
Get it.
is required to stay safe, but also make the best shots possible.
A lot of coordination. Again, I still fall, I feel like, once a year, and sometimes at the highest level, and it's tripping over a rock or something.
back
You
eight.
have to pay attention.
Okay.
I like this call draw around. They're saying, okay, we have a lot of cover here. If we get a nice one
Maybe not
buried,
anymore.
might not look so scary.
Exactly, and that
Yeah.
shot rock is just barely behind the tee. So if you ever can get right down to it, there's no way for any of those yellow rocks to. Well, it's going to be really tough to run of those
I would
yellows. And
agree.
there's a lot of staggers
be
up
back
there,
eight.
especially behind those other red guards.
It's gotta be top 8. It's gotta be 8.
Around
Hard.
the first reds,
Ah.
and won't get around the yellows, unfortunately.
Really, really, really good weight. I think
Yeah.
the line just took off a little bit. Again, it's farther out, a little frostier out there.
Yeah.
It's very tricky to get around.
I mean, this is really good.
It's like a board, maybe.
Better quality
thinking
stream than
control.
Worlds. We got a comment from Sarah.
This can never be wide.
Thank you. I won't take the credit. I'm only here as a guest commentator, but Joel's shaking his head saying, well, he appreciates the comments, but he wouldn't agree. Again, couldn't do this without
Yeah.
our generous donors. And as you see
think board.
at the bottom of the screen here, Andy Miller, Ken Pomeroy, Anna Pesos. We got Tessa Brockie, David
be
Hurst, and
inside.
Ramin Gilbert that really made this possible.
Just board. Wrecking is better than wide. So. Yep.
Ben, you heard them say that wrecking is better than wide here. I think that might have been why he decided to take less broom.
Hard as you can.
Because I'm assuming he was really just saying he doesn't want to have that red stuff on the back yellow, right? He'd rather wreck on his own guards than miss this. Now he still made this really nicely so that that rock is not going to be a problem for them anymore. But it seemed like it was really just trying to find that right tolerance of what's the better miss on this spot.
And I don't know about you, but it looked like they barely got it by that center guard there, that red.
But they still got it by.
They still got it by.
So Alyssa just saw this line on Jillian's
Okay,
last
same
rock.
way.
So
Back 8. Okay.
they have the yellow guard, because they ticked it in the last one, they have a little bit more space around those to be able to make this rock. So
Yeah, that'll help a
Ball's
lot.
back 8.
curious how much we're going to seeing the times change here throughout the course of this game.
Where is it? Whoa! Whoa, line's fine. It's got a curl. Never. Never, ever.
Yeah, a little bit heavy on that rock. Probably looking more for somewhere in the
That's so
14.5 range, I would assume, on
Yeah.
that shot.
I would agree. But again, tricky. You're outside on that farther path. You're late in the game. Ice is getting
I think you're just
tricky.
here.
Wanted to make sure you got it there, right? You didn't want to leave the guard.
And you saw she
Make it
kind of
come to
maybe
here,
lost a
air
little bit of
inside
her
the
balance
short.
coming out of the hack there too. It's always hard to recover, to try and make that right weight shot when maybe you lose your balance, which happens to everybody at some point.
Yeah, I do think her line would have been really good though. She
Yeah.
had a nice berm that she could took for herself.
Absolutely.
Pro side short. Top 8. Top 4, sure if you can get it, but just focus on being on that line.
Line's nice.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Where are we? Okay, well, look,
Let it
if it's
die.
top 8, I want
Let it die.
4. Line's nice. Got 15-3. It should get to my broom. Curl, 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 curl. All right.
Good
Their
shot.
option is to try to draw this way, but
I
we
will
can't
say,
push the button,
Mellon
probably.
team didn't give Parks much of an option this end. They made every single draw exactly where they wanted.
Yeah, it's been a good end for you when you're seeing all of your rocks, basically all but 2, because one was taken out, being above the tee line, sitting up there. That's always a scary thing to be having to draw against as a skip.
Yeah, and what's hard is that Parks didn't even play a poor end. It was just a couple shots that weren't exactly where they wanted to be, and Mellon took advantage of them. So
And the fact that those shots ended up all being clustered. If you have some of those shots where maybe the weight
thank
misses,
you.
but they're all spread out, it makes it a completely different game because you have a little bit more space to work with.
yeah,
So Alyssa going to try to play this outside line that we haven't really seen much of in this end. Try to sit one.
A little thin. Whoa. Weight only. Always curl. Always curl.
weight looks really close. It just needs to
Always curl.
curl, and it should start to break on the tee line here.
Yep.
Might just be a little up.
That's why I'm the one watching the line.
Wow, great
Nice
draw.
shot.
Fantastic draw. Great
One
call.
red. One
Wow.
red. Yep.
Phenomenal draw. Good judgment by those sweepers, and they listened to Jillian as she was calling the line after the hog line, and it just perfectly curled in.
Nerves of steel from
Right?
Alyssa to draw against 7 like that, and to make a really precise draw
Oh
too.
my
To get that
goodness.
to the side of the button, the only spot that she could really make that. So
It really was.
Uh,
I would say maybe shot of the weekend so far that I've seen.
that's right up there with some of them. So we're going to take a short break here before we go into the 8th end.
You know? Center guard. Give me one up here. A 1. You got it.
Okay, and we're back for the 8th end here. We still can't get over how great that shot was by Alyssa and last in the 7th. She drew cold draw to the pin, to the button right to get their one.
And that was great evidence of a team shot. You had
Absolutely.
obviously the great throw from Alyssa, Jillian with a fantastic line call, and there was just weight calls constantly being
it on the
communicated the
center
whole
line.
way through.
Just
They put
whoa,
just the
it's
right
gonna
amount of
curl.
it
It's
right
over
onto
curly.
it to make
Yeah.
sure that it got a piece of the button there,
Mm-hmm.
which is they didn't have much to
Nice
be able
shot,
to see,
Enzo.
and they hit what they could see.
Stop,
Yeah.
stop.
And almost what I loved most of all about that shot is it seemed like everybody trusted each other a lot. And that's very, very, very important when you're curling, especially a
Top
new
4.
team that hasn't played a ton together, to be able to trust and say, you know what, I believe you. Let's make sure this is good.
Yeah.
Ideally, Mellon this end, just want to keep it clean. Ideally, make sure that Parks doesn't have a chance to steal multiple.
T.
And Park's going to be trying to get a lot of
Okay.
rocks out front, try to set
Prefer it to not-
them up
prefer it
some
to not
way
be deep.
to create a lot of rocks
Coming down a little.
that Matt has to deal with regularly and keep them from doing that.
Yeah, junk is good in this case for Team Parks.
Sit
if I'm the Mellon team, I'm thinking, okay, second and
Jackson.
third, I'm going to be ready to peel.
What's your thought process here on either up 3 with hammer in the 8th,
All right, here.
throwing through, or
Or
putting
here.
rocks into
Still
the
gotta
house?
be a guard.
Yeah, my general rule of thumb,
Got it.
I mean, it depends, right? But general rule of thumb is up 3. I don't think a throw through is necessary. Maybe up 4, I would. I almost wouldn't have minded there on if I was Mellon, if I was Jackson, trying to throw the tick. It doesn't look like that red guard was on the center line. I could be wrong. But I wouldn't have
Line's
minded
wide.
throwing the tick. It's a tricky
We're
shot,
wide on this
right?
one.
So
One.
What's
it
the weight?
depends. But I think a nice top
Okay.
4 there, at least getting 1 in the power position. Ideally, you do not
Whoa,
want to be
whoa,
behind
whoa.
the tee, so I would say that's pretty. I'd say that's not ideal for that first yellow, but still can get a good one next. Given the reds and how they're positioned now, even if they're on the center line, I would not throw the tick in this scenario. Only would have on the first.
Just a hair
Yeah,
tighter.
we can go.
Seems like in general the school of thought is with hammer here, keep the non-hammer
Line's
team
really
busy,
nice.
right?
Be
Have them
nice,
have
girl.
rocks that they eventually have to deal with because they
No,
want
no,
to
no, you
create
don't have to curl.
a lot of traffic out front.
It'll come.
But at some point they then have to then deal with the traffic that's in the house to
Get her to
make
here.
sure they're actually sitting those 3.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, Mellon would be happy having 1 or 2 rocks that are really good power position in front of the button. Where they're at now,
Maybe a 90.
I would say if I were Mellon, peeling on the next would be the best.
Yep. Looks like trying to get Kira to draw around those
5.
red center guards.
Gotta be a 6. 4. Gotta go. Gotta go to get around.
She says it has to be a 6. Obviously, very important to be
Alright.
there, but
2.
I would say shorter is better than
whoa,
heavy
whoa,
in this
whoa,
scenario.
leave it.
In the 8th end here, without hammer, you need guards.
Yep.
So, not a bad shot there.
No, and that seemed a little bit lighter than what the sweepers thought out of hand. So maybe
Play
we are
this one.
seeing some, as you mentioned in the last end, seeing rocks check up a little bit more than they were necessarily expecting
Trying to hit like here.
Yeah. Key would be here to remove at least 1 and your shooter. Ideally would be the double and shooter removed. Just leaving 1 up there. I don't know if there's
Yep.
a way to get the triple.
So
Yeah.
ideally, if he can hit this rock on the outer half, he
Yeah.
probably can
Really gotta
spill his guard out to the side. Looks like this might be curling over just a little too much here.
All right, dude. Thank you.
Unfortunate. Only nice thing about this is it looks like there might be a triple now. It might jam back in the house. Either way, I think Mellon will be calling it, trying to open up the center. That's one of those shots as a second that you want to throw again,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
Light
I think
one
for both seconds.
For both
here.
seconds, absolutely.
You have
Light's
one to
good,
have
light's
opportunity
good,
to make
white
that
only,
draw
white
around.
only.
The other one has a chance to see how hard can we throw a peel here.
8.
Line's good.
This looks really nice.
Yeah, line looks great here. Just needs to sit.
Nice shot. Nice shot.
Nice shot, Kira.
I like that. It's behind the tee, but it's shot, right? And that's huge here. Mellon's still going to focus on getting rid of the center. They don't really care about their, park shot being shot rock.
Just trying to think of where the best spot to hit it is.
Just left and nose, I think. Should get all 3, maybe. Got to throw peel, probably.
Yeah, it's everything you got.
Yeah, I would say big peel. This is something that Joe and I have
Everything.
practiced a bit,
Peel.
so we'll see how oh, it's Derek still. I apologize. It's good out of hand.
On its own.
Yeah, I don't know if there was a way to
Touchdown.
get any more
They're
of a
probably going to
roll.
want to leave it, so. Yeah, he hit it as it was going, but.
It's always nice to have, throwing big weight shots can be challenging, but you have one of the best big weight throwers in the world at your club to be able to learn from as well, to get some, any feedback on delivery and things like that. So that's another great example of just how having some of those resources at the club level can be so beneficial to the development of
Yeah,
curlers.
I'm assuming you're talking about me. No, just kidding.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
I know you're probably talking about Corey Dropkin. He does a phenomenal job with those up weight hits and definitely gives these boys good tips on how to just feel confident in your slide, even when throwing massive weight. Biggest key is really just how do you generate the leg drive and transitioning from the back of the hack to the slider. Oftentimes you'll see that little wobble once people get down into their delivery, and trying to eliminate that and be really, really just strong through the kick is key.
Here's like top button's fine. 2, it's good.
I've seen, I think Tyler Tardy shared it with some folks where it's almost like you're doing a plank out of the hack, and then you're just the last possible second you're driving your leg forward.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways to generate that power. I think that's a great example. There's a gal from Canada who has quite a big social media presence. I think her title is like Empowered Performance or something, and she has tips and tricks on how to generate that power, not only in your delivery but also sweeping. I highly recommend taking a look at some of her posts for good tips on generating that.
Yeah, there's some great resources online, and I know USA Curling is working on building out the Our House stuff as resources for clubs, but also I think some resources for curlers to just help them either develop the club or develop individually as well.
What's so hard about USA Curling, and obviously being able to play with them is one thing, and we're very grateful for the funding that they help us with. But it's about how do they make an impact across every level of curling. And I know over the last few years it's been tricky. And so trying to make sure that they're doing those, learn how to prep the ice or, official trainings and whatnot are really important.
I know we've had some examples of some high performance curlers going out to clubs. I was talking with the guys from Team Gilbert about how Becca Hamilton came out to Oval and was working with them and was able to give them useful things to really help them grow. I know we had some folks, I think, do some sweeping clinics out at Charlotte, I believe, or Triangle. So just having that opportunity for utilizing the skills of our high performance curlers to be able to grow kind of at the grassroots level as well.
Yeah, my lead, Leah Yavaro, she has traveled out, I want to say out to the East Coast. I think they did learn to curl of sorts out near the Bucks County, or maybe she was in the Charleston area. I can't remember exactly, but she's done a couple different trips out there to not only do those learn to curls but meet new people as well.
Absolutely, and I was so impressed with at the 5U qualifiers this year, especially if there was a high performance curler that was based out of that club. The fact that folks were coming and hanging out at the Madison qualifier, both Matt and Becca Hamilton were there all day Saturday talking with people. Super gracious with their time. Lance Wheeler came to the Denver 500 and gave some great sweeping feedback. Because talking about good sweepers,
he's a great sweeper as well.
So it was great to hear from him about proper posture, things like that. Vicky Persinger was up in Fairbanks when we were up there. So just a great opportunity for developing curlers to be able to meet and talk with people at the highest level of the sport. Or having folks like you here join us as well.
Happy to help. Well, I was here anyways, so it's convenient. Back to the end here, not what Mellon was looking for. Joe slipped deep here on the last shot, and honestly, I think anything else would have been good, and definitely give him a little bit of that feedback later. But it could have been short, guarded that path as they're taking now. Also, you want to make it perfect, right? You want to beat button, you want to be shot rock, but you have to think about the tolerance. The pro side. I also didn't mind a hit on that last shot. I don't know what you thought.
Well, we talked at the beginning about how Parks wants to generate traffic, right?
Right.
And there's so much traffic. There's a lot going on the house here, and a hit helps to eliminate some of that traffic. Even if you're not helping yourself out on that shot, you're helping yourself out on a later shot.
I think when I heard Mellon say, we're all in now, that was, him saying we have to draw. But I think if you would have ran that red on the right top 12 there, even if it jams, opens it up a bit.
Just gotta sit down.
Straight spot again, just carrying. They are 1-2, but it leaves a pocket for Mellon to come in.
well-made freeze here, and I don't know if there's really anything that Parks can do. If there's any separation, she might have a little bit of a
Yeah,
red
right,
run
too.
back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But if he welds it on there, I don't see any way that Parks can get a steal of 3.
Yeah, I think a freeze is key. Being right back down to that pocket, ideally to the first shot rock. A top button shot is also fine, but you're right, it does leave a little bit of an angle slash there.
Line's nice.
Felt nice.
Line's nice. Straight if anything.
Hard!
Hard, guys.
Can't hurt it!
Cannot hurt this.
I
Gotta
think
go.
it jumped a bit here.
All the way, guys.
It's enough weight, it should be good line.
Hard, 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 hard.
Ooh, must have just jumped.
Okay.
Not bad, you can angle it next, but it looks like it might have just lost some of its weight and as it started to curl in.
Should I just draw around?
What do you feel more comfortable, the draw?
The draw?
Yeah, you just need to bite 4. That's all you need to do is bite 4.
And he's gonna draw this again.
Yep.
Do I just draw here?
Well, that's there now.
I know.
So it'd probably be here.
Okay, so here?
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
Is this the same ice?
Yep.
Right here. Is that where we were?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, you got it.
So Alyssa just threw this shot,
We
so
have
she
to
has an
touch
opportunity to throw the
4.
same shot. Just has to be careful to make sure they actually get around that yellow that
Gotta
Matt
bite
just
the,
threw.
bite the forefoot. So same spot.
Do you like the same draw here, knowing that you have to come out a little bit wider, or would you prefer to play that tap back on your red?
Yeah, great question. I was thinking myself. The tap is very difficult. It could open it up and give Melon a shot. Taps are one of those tricky shots, right, where you make it great and it's perfect, but you have a high likelihood of opening it up, giving them an easier shot to get their one. I don't mind the draw here, especially since she just threw this side. It's just a bit more broom.
Okay.
The ice will be a bit different, though.
Line's fine.
Line's good.
Line's all right. Yeah, line. Hard line.
Hard Anto!
Hard line. Hard. Hard, Anto. All right, we're crashing.
And just a hair light there,
Okay,
but
two red.
what an incredible game here that we got to watch. Both teams played so well.
I will say, especially halfway through when Mellon had a bit of a lead, Parks definitely kept with it, and they didn't let down. They played phenomenal last end here.
So that will do it here for us. I believe the feed might briefly switch over to showcase Sheet B as they're just wrapping up. Looks like Last Rock coming up over there. We do want to invite you to join us again at 2 o'clock. We will have Team Bliven versus Team Saliku. I believe the winner of that game goes into the playoffs. So that'll be a really high-stakes game coming up here at 2 p.m. Central Time. We'll be joined by David Dickinson and Danny Casper for that next stream. So thank you so much for joining us here today, and have a great rest of your day. Good curling. Hope to see you back for our next stream.
Good curling, everyone.